Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Wednesday. Zach, why were you squinting like that? Was there something weird?
Well, the weird thing is...
You're far away from your microphone. That's pretty weird.
Well, it's weird. It's a weird day. It's a weird
Do you
day.
need to adjust it?
Pot fish on the weird day. I think my chair got lowered.
Wow.
Do you feel... Did you grow?
Maybe. Do I have your chair? Maybe?
I don't know.
Anyway, compelling listening today from our friends at Team
Hello,
Covenant.
everyone. Welcome to
Wednesday,
not the Covenant Cast.
noon.
Hey, can we solve that real quick? Is it?
What?
Can we call this something?
I think we should just use our name at the front of everything that we do.
Covenant?
And then the next thing is the...
Well, how about...
the Covenant podcast?
Like we have Earthborne Rangers, Earthborne Trailblazer,
I actually love if
and Earthborne Hub World Eidolon.
It would be very funny if we actually just called it the Covenant Podcast instead of the Covenant Cast.
Let's just call it the Covenant Podcast.
Yeah, it's like we became proper.
Well, we're competing with all those churches is a problem.
Or, even better, it could be the Covenant Cast, but it's apostrophe cast for the lack of pod at the front of the word.
Oh my goodness. This is what you were dealing with all morning?
Yeah, man.
Zach is
Unreal.
on
Anyways,
today.
all that to
I
say,
don't know.
welcome back to the show.
Yeah, hello.
We are
everybody.
here. The schedule is going to be as such. We're going to talk about news, random order for the partners that we work with, the publishers.
Random order, really? Do you
Yeah, it is actually random. Yeah.
Wow.
And I guess it's Matt Phillips random. So it's random in a sense that as things get added to the list, that partner gravitates to the top.
Yeah.
But it's not like alphabetical. It's not consistent. We're just going to cover different things that are going on with the different games we support.
News with partners, yeah? Okay.
But we are going to finish the news section with Covenant news, Covenant-related news, which happens to be very related to our friends over at Earthborne Games that you were just referencing.
Yeah.
So we're going to be, the topic for today is first impressions of Earthborne Trailblazer.
Yes, their new board game.
Which we had the unique privilege of playing. And I have a prototype map that I'm holding up right now for people listening that I love.
Just imagine
Imagine
the
you know what's
the coolest map.
Here's a funny thing I've been thinking about recently is essentially as a society how we're losing the ability to describe things.
This wasn't in the notes.
Because
cover it up front.
It's in my notes.
This is what we're starting with. So
Well,
we're going to cover exit. Like
I was literally about to be like, "Hey, Steven, can you describe this map?" But just the idea of how often you don't have to describe something because you can just pull out a camera from your pocket and take a picture.
Just look at it, yeah.
But when you read like old books or even just like journals of various famous people, they're like describing the curtain.
That's true.
And it's
That's
like,
true.
do I even have the words to describe certain things? Because I've never described a curtain.
No. You want to try?
No. Ask my wife. I would be horrible at that.
I could describe something, I think.
Yeah. So describe this map real quick before we get into news.
So it's basically all kind of green hued overlay. So it has almost
earthy.
It has an earthy, almost sepia overlay on it. So even the brighter greens are still not vibrant in the same way. It's very tucked in, very comfortable, very cozy feeling map. There is a number of different regions that are not divided by hard lines like you would expect on a traditional board game where you see, I'm here, I'm there. But where the color palette switches between like a yellow-green to more of a kind of brownish green to a lighter pastel green dictates where the region lines are. So it's all done with the artwork itself rather than any kind of graphic design component, which I think is super notable. On the map, there are a million different tiny features that you can get lost in. And this reminds me of a lot of these really old maps. I don't know if you guys, you remember those weird books like Atlas Obscura and these kinds of like just books of extraordinary things and weird stuff. It kind of reminds me of like an old, like a JRPG map, like a Chrono Trigger kind of thing, where basically you can imagine your little thing in this map, your little avatar that represents your character or your party. And then there's this wide, vast, open stuff that you can explore in front of you, and you can move around and kind of find out what's going on in all these little villages and towns and tree villages and rock formations and rivers and streams. And sometimes it's just like, oh, that's a weird looking bush over there. Sometimes there's a little figure painting something. If you start diving into this map, you see like the amount of detail is unbelievable. And it's to say like, where's Waldo makes it sound rote and like not impressive, but it does have a certain kind of intense detail to it, like those kinds of Where's Waldo-ish things.
I mean,
hidden things everywhere.
For me, though, it perfectly captures the way I felt as a kid looking at Where's Waldo.
Yeah.
Even though Where's Waldo is more, it's noisier and maybe less artistic.
Yeah.
This definitely has like an Earthborne. It's Earthborne's take on that sort of feeling.
And there's like almost a it's way more detailed. But it's almost like a pirate map kind of feel where it's like, here's where that certain tree is that you need to know about, and here's where that little pond is with the stone in it, and here's so there's a lot of intention and importance being put on things that otherwise you would just kind of skip over. They're all made a little bit unique and interesting. And that plays into the game itself in a very notable way. So there's Spire here. There's
Did
all
you
the
notice
different.
This thing, by the way? What?
Yeah, it's like an arcology thing.
What is that?
We don't know.
What are the things that eat things?
Yeah, that's like a biomeld.
There it is.
Of some kind. Yeah.
We'll come back to this. I have so many things I want to say about
I could
this,
keep describing it too. There's rivers running through it. It's this beautiful, it's got trees, bushes, streams. You see civilization, old civilization, new civilization, different pathways, cobblestones collecting on shorelines, hard to walk paths, easy to walk paths.
I'd live there.
Little huts and villages everywhere. It's just alive is what it is. It's alive. It's lived in. It's beautiful.
All right, let's get to the news so we can come back to this because I have a lot I want to say about Trailblazer. So, in no particular order, let's start with Warlord.
Hold on, Zach. Let me do one thing. I'm sorry. I'm going to spike the ball.
Reverse it.
If you need to know one thing before you sign off and stop listening to us, Earthborne Trailblazer is the newest offering from Earthborne Games. It's now on Kickstarter. It is their first official board game from a team of people that I would say arguably the Fantasy Flight crew in general was probably known best for board games. Would you say that? Over like an LCG?
Fish was an RPG guy.
Fish is an RPG guy, and he did the Cosmere one, right?
Yeah.
That's like crazy. But you feel like the number of board games that FFG produced is pretty massive. And they first got famous from Twilight Imperium, popular board game.
It's tough for me to say because I didn't really focus on the board game. I know Arkham Horror is a really big board game, actually.
Yeah.
Eldritch Horror?
Eldritch Horror is the one. There's a bunch of different horrors.
Mansions of Madness was really big. Twilight Imperium, of course, massive for them. And they've done just so many different the board games, but some of the LCGs were really popular too.
Yeah.
And X-Wing was something else.
Anyway, this team is the dream team of all dream teams. We said it in the email, but anything that they do is, to me, kind of art in the highest form, maybe universally, but certainly for this medium and this genre. So it's worth, if you've never cared about a board game before, if you only play card games, if any of that stuff, check this project out for its own sake, not because you're a board gamer or anything else. Check it out for its own sake. Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful experience.
I have a lot to say about this back half of this episode.
270,000 on Kickstarter currently.
About a day in, doing seemingly very well.
Let's get it higher.
All right. Warlord, they had a big weekend.
Woo!
So this past weekend was the official launch of their organized play Overlord system, which I will continue maybe for the rest of my life singing the praises of this system. I think it is a classic 90s, 2000s CCG Moxie to do this sort of system. TLDR, you play your local event, the winner gets to play against the tournament organizer who's using an Overlord, which is kind of an overtuned character, which we now actually have the full card revealed for the first Overlord. But this weekend in Kalamazoo, they hosted at, I think it was Odyssey Games. They did a big live stream. Josh was doing commentary. People were playing tournament. It's the first kind of big tournament for the game, but also they got to challenge the Overlord. No one beat the Overlord, who...
I love that too.
Just, it makes sense. Overlord's name is Diablos Raiden, and he looks intense. You can see the little, like... reticle icon here. That's a reticle. You said reticle yesterday, and it's like stuck in my brain. I feel like I should know that from like X-Wing Star Wars days. I'm sure
GoldenEye.
That happened a lot, but you said that word, and I was pretty sure I had never heard it.
Did you do the Perfect Dark transition post GoldenEye? You remember that? From GoldenEye into Perfect Dark, the shooter. Did you play GoldenEye at all?
Oh, yeah.
Did you play Perfect Dark at all?
No.
I thought it was worse.
Perfect Dark or GoldenEye? we played a lot of GoldenEye.
Played a lot of GoldenEye. I went GoldenEye, and then Perfect Dark's like, whatever, and then Halo got a hold of us.
I did play Halo. Yeah, we had that experience together.
We were children.
Anyways, this guy looks great. It's also kind of like the proto Overlord kit, so it's not full fledged, and it's like them dipping their toes in. But later this year, apparently, there's going to be the next batch of this. You get the Overlord.
Also, a lot of those went out via Fulfilled, which I was pleased to see that there's a lot of stores doing this.
I was going to say, all of them went out through Fulfilled. And if you're unfamiliar, we did a whole episode last week talking about distribution and Fulfilled, which is our kind of answer to it's an alternative form of distribution, essentially. And all of these Overlord kits were served through that system, which is amazing. And it's really cool. I mean, it's so hard to make a card game at all and to get to published state, and to then also get any number of people playing it, and to then also get any number of retailers supporting it and having it on their shelves and hosting events. So it's really encouraging to see a game like Warlord come along and have so much momentum and success. Yep. And Josh and Woodrow, I know it's been like a really stressful, long process for them. So this has to be like water in a desert of like, game is out, people are playing it, people are having a good time. Clearly, there's a lot of interest in the Overlord system. And if you're a local retailer, or if you want your local retailer to get involved in this, you can send them over to fulfilled.teamcovenant.com to apply. And I know I see people coming in every day applying to be able to sell and support Warlord and get the OP kit and whatnot. So kudos to them for actually doing it. But if you win your local and then you play the Overlord and you beat them, you get a copy of the Overlord, which you can cash in to fight a Dragon Lord later, which is like even crazier. Mm-hmm. And if you beat a Dragon Lord, you get a copy of that to cash in against a Medusan Lord, which is insanity. But the Medusan Lords are going to be like really special. If you beat them, they die and it's over. You're the one person that beats them. And if they don't lose, I think it's across the first 100 games it retires. Mm-hmm. And so the only two people that ever own the Medusan Lord is the person who plays the deck, has the deck, and then the person that beats it.
And I would bet that's primarily maybe only Josh and Woodrow for the next so many years.
So I think they, in the olden days, they would give, it started out that way. It was like staff kind of a thing. And then it would be like maybe the first world champion gets to become a Medusan Lord. And there's a lot of ways that you can, because, they essentially do art and design for a character and maybe the starting 5, and you don't have to, it's not like it necessarily a whole deck either. It can be. And suddenly you have a Medusan Lord. And it's like, that's a really cool prize to be like, you won, you have this thing, people can challenge you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
It's a trophy forever.
Off to the races.
You're a legend.
Anyway, it's really cool to see that. Next up, we have Sorcery. It's been an organized play heavy month.
And podcast got some attention, didn't it, Zach?
What podcast?
The one we did last week.
It did get some attention.
About Fulfilled.
Turns out
there's 4 people in all the comment sections that have a lot to say about that. I have a feeling they might be the ones that are going to lose whenever they don't get their sweet tendies anymore.
So it's like the wisdom we gained from watching Lebowski. You look to see who would benefit, and then go from there.
So true.
Well, I think just kind of very briefly summarizing last week is like Fulfilled is inherently a system built to give publishers control.
Mm-hmm.
That is not normal. That's not how it normally goes, and there's a lot of confusion around that. But ultimately, publishers can do with that power what they want. And if they want to incentivize stores that are hosting in-store communities and events and play spaces and whatnot, they can.
That's it.
And if you're not doing that and they're not incentivizing whatever it is you're doing that is adding value or that you think is adding value, that's not for us to say.
That's right. I restated it a couple of times. This is a platform that publishers can use. They don't have to use it. They can use traditional distribution if they want. So there's nothing stopping any publisher that's on Fulfilled from sending product through traditional distribution or anything else that they want to do with it. There is not a price of a product on Fulfilled. There's an MSRP of a product. So like a Sorcery box is $166 for Gothic. And then Eris Curious is going to set every individual store is going to have their own discount off of that MSRP.
It's not even just Eris Curiosa.
Yeah. Or Warlord over at Kingswood or Earthborne Games team. They're all getting to decide. So some stores are going to see a better price than other stores. There is not a set price for everybody with the system. The publisher decides on a store-by-store basis what the discount is, And if you want more of a discount and you say, hey, I've been doing these things, I've been hosting these events, et cetera, you can always reach out to the publisher and let them know. And you can maybe work that out. It's a relationship. That's the way it's supposed to work. Similarly, the volume that any given store is getting is also completely uniquely tailored. There is a fairly robust standard with Sorcery right now that they're kind of saying for most stores, here's the 2 cases of Gothic, 2 cases of Arthurian Legends. That could change for any reason and for at their pleasure. So they could say this store over here is somebody who we really appreciate, who we're having a really good partnership with. Let's up their quantity to 22 cases of Gothic tomorrow. They could do that. So it's a platform in that way. So like a lot of people see what their store is saying their terms are and saying that's how everybody is functioning. It's not the case. Everything's unique. Everything can be changed. Publisher gets to decide who gets what and what it costs. So that's really important to understand. And I think probably the most important facet with Sorcery, I think it's important not to lose sight of the fact that all of the chatter, the negative chatter online, of which there is always some, so you just decide what it's going to be on any given week. But all the negative chatter was, I'm a longtime Sorcery store. I've been supporting the game since alpha and beta. I can't get Gothic from distribution. Somebody help. What can I do? The great news about this is those complaints are totally gone because all of those people are signed up for Fulfilled. They're getting their cases of Gothic, etc., just fine, and they're having a great time serving their players. So the long-standing people who have been in this from the start, who were complaining about the fact that I can't get treated any different from random average volume buyer, and they're buying all this stuff, and I can't get any. Does Eric Sierra not care about the fact that I've been supporting their game and hosting events every week and month? That problem is now solved. I think Fulfilled was meant to solve that problem. So that's a good bit of context for any Sorcery player or retailer to keep in mind that one giant problem has been solved and one new problem or ongoing problem still exists, which is true for any and every game, distribution or Fulfilled or otherwise. How do we get new stores onboarded onto the platform? And every publisher is probably going to have a different approach to that. And I know Warlord has certain things that they might want to do. Sorcery is working on things they might want to do. But the control is there. So that I think those kinds of onboarding programs are not only in progress and going to now start getting implemented very soon, but this is the first time a publisher and a game will be able to really effectively onboard new stores in a thoughtful way. Because you don't just send 200 welcome kits and pre-con starters to distribution and hope that new stores buy them and they start playing your game. You can say, hey, you're a new store. Tell us about yourself. We're going to send you so many of this, so many of that. We're going to look to see if you host an event or two over the next month. If you do, we're going to up your allocations. We're going to lower or increase your discounts. And they actually can do something meaningful with an onboarding program. So I'm excited to see this next phase of Fulfilled, where it's like over the next 2-3 months, I think all these indie publishers are going to get the picture that like we can make a pipeline and then put all the stores possible into it and get them onboarded into our system. It's like a really exciting moment where you can actually onboard, man.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I'm also very excited about...
I wonder how they're going to do Hub World. Hope you guys at Earthborne are thinking about that. How do you want to onboard stores into Hub World?
Well, it's so much different with a non-collectible.
Yeah.
Like, inherently.
Yeah.
Anyways, more on that later.
If at all.
What I want to talk about is Avatar the Realm. Do you see this?
AOTR?
AOTR. AOTR.
Chase just posted a new update. If you want to check out this.
Who's Chase?
In Discord or on their website?
Discord.
Well,
Discord is their website.
Before
Zach.
I do that, let's just run down Avatar
Can we
the
keep
Realm.
interrupting you though?
Yes, please. I'm loving it. Okay, so they announced that this is from Eric Curiosa, who originally seemingly were positioning to not do any official anything organized play-wise.
Yeah.
They have made a full pivot. Avatar the Realm. The only way I can describe it, and the only words I have to describe it, to compare it to something, are a world championship.
That's right.
I don't know that they would even say that, but it's November 13th through 15th, 2026, at the Marriott Long Wharf in Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston.
I'm
I've
gonna
only been
have to-
there once.
I've never been there. So it's a pretty good excuse to do it.
Remember we got yelled at by a true Bostonite. You remember that, John?
Is that where you went to that rally?
Yeah. Yeah. Artist Store Standing. It was in DC, but we visited Boston while we were there.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've wanted to go there for a long time, so that's a pretty good excuse to go. Tickets are going on sale in 20 hours and 27 minutes from right now. So tomorrow
Are
morning.
they supposed to be? You think they're limited?
They're definitely limited.
Uh-oh.
Because it says,
Are you on top of that?
Avatar of the Realm is the I am on top of that. Is the pinnacle of the sorcery contested realm organized play, and this November 13th through 15th comes to Merritt Long Wharf in Boston, Massachusetts. Join fellow sorcerers along with artists and Eric Curios's team, including Eric Olafsson, for 3 days of contesting the realm. Tickets available in 20 hours. A full weekend of the realm with a special Friday event yet to be announced. I assume that's what Chase announced. Alongside our Team Sealed event. What up?
Dude.
And other weekend activities, the Avatar of the Realm is shaping up to be far more than just a singular constructed tournament.
I love this schedule.
Schedule is Friday, mystery sealed.
All right, listen, Zach.
Did they unveil the mystery?
They better.
I have speculation.
Because listen, here's the thing. We're all looking at this and saying, oh my God, is this an early version of the next set? Everybody's going to think that.
Well, if it's an early version of the next set, that's November. So when's that? Last year the set came out in December.
So it could be, but it could be the set, the most recent set. It could be if set 4 is already released.
Oh, goodness.
if you say mystery, and then you say, oh, the mystery was it's beta, then everyone's going to be.
They revealed it.
What is it?
According to Kevin in chat, saying Frost Mage versus Lava Mancer in a dual deck. They just announced.
What?
They did.
Do what now? Everybody's whispering at me. Hold on. Do I need to read this actually?
Hold on. I haven't even talked about the first
Somebody said that?
Yeah, here it is. Look. Frost Mage versus Lava Mancer launching November 14th.
Excuse me. I'm going to exclaim without the mic in my
face.
There
it is. All right, here. Hold on. Announcement within announcement. Following the worldwide success of Sorcery Contested Realms, Set Gothic, Eric Curious is excited to unveil its latest product, Frost Mage versus Lava Mancer.
Every time I see Eric's text treatment, I'm like, this I don't like at all. And then within a week, I'm like, it's the jam.
This definitely is different. Anyways, so it says unveil it at Avatar of the Realm. 2 new forces awaken. Since the beginning, avatars have stood at the heart of sorcery's identity. More than your personification in the contest, they shape how you experience the realm itself. Frost Mage and Lava Mancer continue the tradition while pushing a new elemental territory. One channels patience, positioning, and the quiet inevitability of winter. The other embodies volatility, pressure, and the destructive fury.
I wonder how that one's going to go for us, huh?
Players can look forward to two full-size, ready-to-play constructed decks featuring a 60-card spellbook, 30-card atlas, and 10-card collection, tuned to provide seasoned TCG veterans with decks that are equally equipped to battle across the kitchen table as they are a constructed tournament.
Okay, wait. So available. Okay, yeah. Can you give me the cliff notes of this?
Available at Avatar of the Realm. Players attending the Avatar of the Realm, Eric's Curious flagship organized play event taking place November 13th through 15th in Boston, will experience Frost Mage versus Lava Mancer alongside Eric Olafsson and members of the Curiosa team, as well as Melissa Benson, the artist behind the Frost Mage and Lava Mancer avatars.
Mm-hmm.
Players participating in Friday's event will be some of the first in the world to get their hands on Frost Mage versus Lava Mancer.
So is this a normal product? Or is this just for the
Avatar of the Realm? Frost Mage and Lava Mancer will launch worldwide on November 14th.
It's a new product. It's an actual. It's a killer 2 pre-constructed deck product. So this is something that can
Frostbolt. It's like Firebolt but ice, which is fun.
Is it just worse?
I don't know. And there's a video here of Melissa, which we will not watch while we're live here, but you can see these 2 pieces of art. I'm a little sad the wolf is on the winter side, but that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. They like the cold. So okay, hold on. I'm putting this together. So Melissa Benson is doing
seemingly the avatars.
The avatars, and it's 2 fully playable pre-constructed decks that you can play for the first time at Avatar of the Realm, and then presumably buy at some point down the road in November 14th. You said,
yeah,
they'll be available for sale
it's
like a new starter product.
They're 2 fully constructed decks, so it's Precon Plus. It's not even a Precon.
Freaking perfect, dude.
So Friday's Mystery Sealed seems to be that. I'm assuming you'll just get them, and then you can play whichever deck you want in this event, which is fun.
No packs? We don't get any packs?
I don't know. Saturday is Avatar of the Realm Constructed Championship, which I'll come back to. Sunday, Avatar of the Realm Finals and Team Sealed, which I'll be playing
Team Sealed, yeah. Not the finals.
I love that they did this. So we previously had these like Avatar promo cards that last year at the Crossroads, they would give you if you got top 4 based on your avatar that you were playing. And so what they're actually doing here is the top performing player of every avatar that has a winning record.
That's the key.
Gets their promo for their avatar.
It's so crazy.
So if it's 7 rounds and you go 4-3 on insert whatever avatar you're going to play.
Avatar of Water.
Then you get the foil special logoed full
Mhm.
art version of the avatar, which I think this is the perfect sorcery organized play decision because
Everyone should be doing this.
I know Alpha Clash does a similar thing with the
Yeah.
bounties, but it's not every avatar in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But like this is going to make the meta at this event insanity.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Because let's say random number. Let's say there's 500 people playing in a tournament. I'm gonna guess 300 of them are going to be running decks that they're hoping to go 4-3 with to get that card.
Absolutely.
And so suddenly 60% of your rounds are against just chaos.
And they could totally disrupt the meta decks because they're built to play against the other meta decks, but you're not playing as any meta decks. You're playing against insanity.
What's really weird is thinking, okay, let's say you're actually one of the 10 people at the event that could win. Right?
Okay. So
not us, but one of those 10 people, you know what I mean? So the thing is,
could win.
Normally, like I've seen this happen in Alpha Clash because they'll have one contender of every color. And there's 5 colors in that game that there's a bounty. So if you're the top performing player of that character, you get the thing, even if you never win a game. If you're the only person in the tournament playing that thing, you get the bounty, which is usually. And
having the winning record is key.
But basically, in Alpha Clash, it's a one of like 2 or 3 card because they'll do it for one event across the 3 or 4 different places in the world having it. But they only do it for 5 different cards. But that alone has shifted when we're playtesting for these events. It totally changes everything because you need a deck that can win. But if 60% of your rounds are going to be against God only knows what decks. Like, and Sorcery is the kind of game where sometimes cards are worth infinite and sometimes 0.
Yeah.
And sometimes avatars are like so good in a match or they're not very good. And so typically in a tournament setting, it favors the more consistent decks. Whereas actually now you might just randomly see a Realm Eater and you're never going to like tech for Realm Eater.
No.
But now you have to literally account for every avatar in the game. And there's a ton of them.
That just means you have to build a deck that you're good with, that does something well, and then you hope for the best. Like you can't... I like metas that have to get away from hard answers to meta problems and get into here's a thing that my deck does, and I hope that it's better than what your deck does. Like maybe you run the Flame Color deck and max droughts, and you just say, listen, I hope to see 60% water decks and just own it.
Just roast them.
Just roast them, dude.
And last note on Avatar of the Realm. So they originally had only shared that Vincent Pompetti was going to be there, the artist.
He's incredible.
Literally, as I had this page sitting here, Melissa Vincent got added to the
Melissa
lineup.
Benson, what a legend.
Did
the cores, right?
She did the cores, and she's doing the avatars in this new expansion.
Can you read the Frostbolts to me real quick? I just want to make sure that it's actually a good card.
1 or 3 cost, earth, 1 water. No.
They did earth, water is
air, water.
Air, water is ice. Perfect.
Air, water
That's
is
exactly
ice.
Right.
Earth, fire is lava.
Lava. Yeah, of course.
So it says flash frozen by exceptional magic. Shoot a 3 damage projectile and impact. All adjacent units are disabled until your next turn.
That's great.
Single 3 damage projectile.
Yep.
And
great.
then adjacent units are disabled.
Yeah, yours and theirs. So you freeze everything. Ice is about freezing stuff.
That's crazy.
That's Frost Mages and WoW, man. They put that little ice block up. You remember that, Jonathan?
Oh, yeah.
They go in their freaking ice jail, and it's just like, why are we here? You get your cooldowns back, and then you blink away. It's terrible. Anyway, Zach knows all about that.
Yep. Definitely.
Let me check in with the chat here.
I'm definitely tuned in.
What did I miss, Jonathan? You were laughing a lot over there.
This one.
Watching Steven painfully absorb joy like a wizard tapping into a powerful font of energy. I need to put that on the wall. Put that on my Trapper Keeper.
Yeah, that's like your Twitter bio back when that was a thing.
Yeah.
So yes, that event sounds awesome.
We're going.
Pre-constructed. Yeah,
Are we going?
Yeah, we're
We're going. We'll be there.
Pre-constructed decks that are fully bullet ready to go. I think if I could recommend anything for any card game ever, it would be have those products.
Yeah.
Like
there's your onboarding pipeline.
You just as a player, if I show up somewhere and there's 3 people playing, my ability to buy a single thing and sit down and play is like so productive.
Yeah. That's my onboarding pipeline. If I'm sorcery, that's it. It's just like, all right, you're a new store. We're going to send you 8 of these. Have a tournament up to 16 people. Half of them get lava. Half of them get frost. Play it. Once you run your event in the Play Network, boom. Now you can start buying whatever.
Off to the races.
I'm into it.
Yep. All right. that's it for sorcery. That's it. That's a lot, actually.
That's incredible.
All at once,
What a
yeah.
crazy thing. Do you think they dropped that on purpose during our stream?
Maybe.
Why is anybody watching this?
I don't know.
Some people are listening to it.
So someone earlier said I could listen to these guys read a phone book.
Wow.
I'm here. They're here for Earthborne, but they're chilling because apparently they like the sound of our
Importantly,
Navarro's probably over there like, get on with it.
Yeah,
you
get to my
freaking. The title of the stream is about Trailblazer, and you're.
We talked about the map.
We did talk about the map.
Bloosh.
What's up, Bloosh?
Tuning in for Trailblazer stuff. First time watching since Netrunner. Nice stash.
Yeah.
It is a nice stash.
Yeah, I can.
Can you guys compliment it some more so he keeps it? And he said
I
he
thought they
could
were talking about you.
listen to these guys. No. This?
Mm-hmm.
It's an excuse of a mustache.
I honestly, I'm just gonna role play full cowboy. I think from here on out.
I've thought about wearing a cowboy hat for years.
I've done everything in the country except for livestock. So I think that everything, Zach. I think that makes me it's not. I'm not a cowboy because I don't do the cow part of it.
Not yet.
I'm just a boy. I'm just a country boy. I'm a country boy, not a cowboy. Country boy. But they do look similar. I've got the boots. I've got the vest. I could stomp around in chicken poop there. Put the chickens away.
Are you
going to
get cows?
No, I don't think we'll ever
we
get
used
cows.
to.
Cows are a commitment well beyond. I don't want anything bigger than me out there.
I don't know. It's like free lawn mowing, though.
Well, I would get goats for that.
Yeah.
They'll mow anything, though, is the problem. You got to make sure you know where they're
They'll
going.
mow anything, including the things you don't want them to be mowing.
Yeah, you got to stake them out. Well.
We used to have like the personal update segment of the podcast. We don't need any reason for this to be longer, but
I don't like personal updates on podcasts. I just don't.
I like knowing if you're ever going to own cows, though. That's interesting.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why people are here. Anyways, that's super exciting for sorcery. Also, did you see the sorcery logo on the bottom here?
Yeah, they change it every time.
Well, it's half ice, half fire.
They do the one thing that every brand book tells you never to do, which is they literally change their logo every new release.
They don't do that. They literally do everything you're not supposed to do on almost everything you can think.
Yeah, that's how Eric got his. That's how Eric
and it's somehow.
How
Kevin,
did he know that?
Tell me.
That's crazy. It's a 2014, but it is.
Read that for the podcast.
Tell me you drive a 2010 Tacoma without telling me you drive a 2010. It's 2014 Tacoma, but it is the best. I do like that family of Tacoma, the second generation.
I mean, you've said enough things on the internet that the world knows, man.
I actually prefer the first generation, but they're harder to find, and the amenities are not. Anyway.
And how many digital clocks are going to be in your house?
0. I actually had to pay more for a range that was induction, but didn't have digital clocks and didn't have a digital interface of any kind. Still just knobs. It has to be knobs. There's only one that I could find. It's from New Zealand or Australia. Yeah.
A man committed to his principles.
I did. We went into the project like, this is a non-negotiation for me. I'm sorry. I cannot do anything where I'm pressing a button to activate something. It's stupid. It makes no sense. Why are we putting a circuit board in a freaking range? It makes no sense.
I don't know.
We probably have. I mean, it's probably in there too. It's just knob controlled, but I don't want to have to worry. I got olive oil on my hands. You want me to press a button? What, Jonathan? Even the overhead, the exhaust fan. It's like, I want the dial. I don't want to have to be like high, low, medium. No circuit boards. Done with it. Anyway,
I'm excited to see it someday.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next
start
up,
my washing machine with a hand pump too. It's not true.
You should just do it by hand.
Just got to prime it first.
Yeah.
And
No speakers in this house. We play all our music.
That's right.
If you want to get down to it. Anyways, moving on to Alpha Clash. This past weekend, they had a big weekend in the Philippines. They continue to just dominate in the Philippine market, which is amazing. The picture here of an event hall full of people playing, but they had their
how just cool is that? You just can't plan stuff.
Yeah, well, and so it's Philippines, and they've been in. There's a handful of markets they're expanding into. I think Brazil was one of them, and there's a couple just like it's cool to watch them.
That's just wild. I wonder why. You ever wonder why? Why did this hit in the Philippines?
Well, if you want to get really into that, that's maybe a whole podcast episode at some point. But you essentially have United States is a huge card gaming market, but while that's true, that inherently makes it harder to be successful.
Right.
Because you're competing against everyone who's trying to compete in this space. So I know Philippines has, and Japan is one of the biggest card game markets in the world, as an example.
Right.
But I know Philippines has a certain amount of card game market going on. But imagine there were countries where they just didn't have the card game explosion that we've seen in the past 30 years. And it's like, card game's really cool.
And it's like kind of new. And
Yeah.
But it's, it'd be one thing if Alpha Clash came out of the gate and they were like, we're going to target underserved markets with this. They didn't, as far as I know. But they just they learned that there's 8 people playing in the Philippines, and they were like, who are you? We got you. And now they got a ton of people playing. It's amazing.
So they had their Progenitors Gambit. It was kind of like the national championship. That's what's happening in July in Des Moines. Which I'm going to that
how many
event.
players are there? That's a lot.
Are
you adding it in your head?
Yeah. It's about 50.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's so sick.
They had a
50-person tournament in the Philippines.
I think their big event, the Pro Tour they had last year, was 140 or something crazy. Wow. I mean, it may be bigger in the Philippines than in the U.S.
That's so crazy.
Which is
amazing.
Insane.
Well, go.
But one of my favorite things about this is the top 8 breakdown. The winner was Edison on the Absence, who's a newer character that Ridge was super excited about last time he was here. And a big character in the comic book, as it were. But when I look at the spread here, it's really, really healthy.
There's a ton of different contenders. Yeah.
Now that said, the Philippine players love Torque. They cannot get enough Torque. It's crazy how obsessed they are with Torque. So, anyways, it's good to see not Torque win because the Absence definitely won. You see all these.
I love how we always forget that these metagames are in large part cultural too, where it's just this is just what we want to play as a region. That always happened in Game of Thrones too. It's the freaking Alvaro, right? It's all was it the Italians? Was the Italians or the French?
I don't think it was either.
Really? I thought Alvaro was Italian.
Maybe
is that an Italian?
He was not Italian. I think it was French, if anything.
French, if anything. That's for our next podcast.
I will say at this event, Torque was one of the bounties. But Melvin was playing Torque. Melvin's easily one of the greatest players. There it is.
Alvaro was from Spain.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Spaniards loved the Lannisters.
Yeah.
Strictly.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is, what meta it is,
which
they're playing
I do
Lannisters.
think the Game of Thrones is based on some actual war that happened. It started. The inspiration for this dynamic was one of the I forget what the. Anyways, it was based on a war. I'm pretty sure the Lannisters were based on the Spanish.
Really?
Yeah, I think
serious?
So. Yeah, with the gold and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, because I think, which is just, I don't know.
Well, as you know, we're dead on with our history.
Yeah, so you guys can check us on that or not. I doubt anyone ever will. But if you do have information on that, leave it in the comments. That said, so the Alpha Clash event system, and I was so happy to see Sorcery doing their top avatar. I actually think that is easily one of the best ways to keep it. And with Sorcery it being you have to have a winning record, it's one of the easiest ways to keep it fun competitive instead of just intense competitive. Yeah. Where the prizes aren't just all at the top, but then also going 4 and 3 and earning it on a tier 3 hero feels to it just speaks to me. It's so much better to me than winning the whole tournament.
There's a massive slice of players, maybe the biggest slice of players, who play competitively but don't necessarily play to win the tournament. This massive slice is pleased being the best at the thing that they like playing, not the best player of the game. So for me, if it's you are the best Avatar of Water player at this event and probably in the world, that is the greatest amount of satisfaction I can get from a competitive environment.
Yeah. And then you have that card, assuming you keep it. And
I would sell that back.
Yeah, I know. So fast. I could feel it as I was saying it.
Somebody wants to buy it.
If you do have that card and you play, it's when you're playing against someone who has that, especially if they earned it, oh, this is a real Avatar Water player.
This is a real
There's a real thing going on here. Anyways, Alpha Clash doing something similar to that pre-con deck that Sorcery announced. They have their PvE, I'm calling it PvE 2, coming up, but it's Vault Trials. And this is another incredible just onboarding product, which comes with the 2 fully pre-constructed decks that you could go to a tournament and play with, but it also comes with a PvE scenario, so you can play solo, cooperative, and head-to-head in the same box. That's going to come out in a few weeks. So if you're curious about that game, that's a great place to check it out, as I'm certain those lava ice avatars are going to be.
Mm.
I just love the pre-constructed deck in and of itself. Great. 2 together is even better. Maybe it's even better as like an introductory product.
But also, check this out. Doesn't it make you think, what are the other combinations, and are we going to get them? So Lavamancer is fire earth. What's fire air? What's fire water? Steam? Again, so they're going to decide for us. The players have tried to decide what are these pairings called. They're going to decide for us.
Fire water is cool.
So we have lava and
just
frost.
A boiling lake of doom.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about what fire air would be.
I almost would put, fire and earth and fire and water are tough because I think water is flowy and it's like lava makes sense as a water fire. Because lava is like watery fire.
I just picture boil as a card.
Yeah.
That's what that combination is.
Yeah, it's got to be steam, but you can't really do a steam mancer, can you?
Or
it's just a skillet.
I was gonna say the fire water avatar could be a chef of some kind.
Or maybe you never do the opposites. You could also just not. That's just not compelling.
I bet you the geniuses over at Xcuriosa can figure that one out.
Yeah.
Just saying. Okay, next up we have Ashes. So their Natural Magic expansion, which is available for pre-order on teamcov.com. They continue laying down the previews.
Subscribers, have we made orders for that yet?
Look at these arrows, man.
That's delightful. I could look at pictures of arrows probably for the rest of time.
I'm pretty sure we made the orders, but I'm not in that process anymore. These arrows look awesome. I'll just say that.
I love arrows.
Burning arrow, entangling arrow, whistling arrow. They're doing the thing. They have their Ascendancy core set, which is very similar to PvE for Alpha Clash, which is solo co-op head-to-head in the same. It's kind of funny you see these different creatives converging on ideas at the same time. And that either implies to me that it's a really good idea or it's a really bad idea of a bunch of people for 30 years.
I think it's a great idea. I think
it's a great idea.
Refinement happening right now.
Anyways, they continue to post every week or two a preview article. That means that is imminent.
Art's looking good, man.
Which it is looking
It's looking really compelling.
Yeah,
wow, it's actually maybe looking better than ever, honestly, just from afar. Very dynamic.
I feel like they're maintaining it. It feels like Ashes, but like this is a new level of art for them.
It's just more backgrounds. It's more like evocative backgrounds and stuff, and less just iconic,
like
poses.
silhouette-ish. Yeah, really interesting. And then last but not least, and the Earthborne section and news section is really tied up into us as well. The only things I have down for us is we launched a new format of a show that we call Table Time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And the first game that we did this with was Trailblazer, even though it was the third one that we did.
We recorded. It's also a weird one to do for the format. Like it's obviously a very unusual way. You can imagine that format when it's not 3 people in a prototype board game.
Yeah.
Like, when it's Zach and Steven playing the Star Wars CCG,
it kind of speaks to the reason for the format to me, which is having a kind of universal idea that we can use to produce gameplay video of whatever we want, whether it's a throwback game, a dead game, some of our favorites, right? Netrunner, or it's a prototype for a board game, or it's a board game at all, or like I would love to do an episode at some point with like Bridge or Pitch.
That'd be sick.
And like
Bridge is crazy, man.
I know we can go places with this format.
I just didn't realize you played. The thing that screwed me up about Bridge was you do all the bidding, and then the winner just plays everybody. Plays your hand.
Oh yeah, that is strange.
Like, why are we? That's the strangest way to even think about a game where one player, two of the player.
Yeah, but that's like
we just don't play.
You know when you were talking about being in the canyon and you see the way the rocks got carved into and just slowly over time. Bridge to me is a game that became over time. Like somehow, even the when you're playing the same hands as everyone else throughout the day, and then the scoring system.
That's cool.
It's like this. If you were just starting today, you would never ever in a million years dream of this game. It can only exist as a relic of however long it took 100 years to develop this ecosystem. Which is really crazy.
The idea of everyone playing the same hand and then getting graded basically on the curve of the group is genius.
Yeah.
The idea that half of the time you're not playing the game is less genius. I think we could do better on that one.
It's not half. It's a quarter.
Well, it depends on how aggressive the bidders are.
Well, I bid is
I
bet you-
underbid so that Eric has to play my hand.
Well, if he's the one on my team, yes. But I was aggressively betting because I knew who was on my team that day.
well, and Eric's freaking mom, all the bids come in, and then she's like, "I know every card that you have,
Yeah.
and when you should be playing it."
Well, my favorite part was Eric's daughter Maya, who's
Yeah.
like 10, in the middle of our first game. So me and Steven learning how to play against Maya and Eric's mom, both pros, seemingly at this
Complete
game.
pros.
But like we get halfway into the first hand, and Maya's basically explaining to us why we're losing.
And why we should have played this
And
instead.
it's like
and
such a
it's
Wainwright
like,
special.
How do you know the 18
Yeah.
cards in my hand, little
Yeah,
girl?
it's like, I don't have the 8 of spades. You have it. Okay, I do have it. Anyways, all that to say, we launched Table Time. That is a format we're going to be evolving and exploring. We have a lot more planned for that, but that was kind of like forcibly the first one out the gate because the campaign showed up and we had to be ready.
The most inspired name of all time. The reason we're calling it Table Time is there's a couple of key things with this format that I think are important to mention here. The first is that we're starting every episode with the recap at the table of the game we had just played. So you know how you play a game, like let's say you finish Game of Hub World, Sorcery, whatever. You get the last point or you get the last damage, and then the game is over, and then you start talking to your opponent typically, or you storm off, but usually you start talking and then you say, oh man, like that moment where you did this thing that was crazy and wow, what an incredible experience. So we end with the hook, which is like, oh, they had an awesome time. And then we rewind it all the way back to the beginning where we start playing the thing that we had just talked about. And then we throw commentary over the top of it where we have the inspiration for that was trying to make it feel like whenever you go to the pub after the tournament, and you're reminiscing about the time that you had and like the mistakes that you made and the crazy plays that you had. And so the commentary is there to provide that kind of laid back, like overview. And then we cut to the table, we cut back to the commentary.
And specifically what it'd be like if, as an example, if we played a game of Trailblazer and then we went to the pub and then you watching or listening showed up and we are reminiscing and talking about it in a way.
Like, how was your session?
That is like assuming you don't know that much.
Yeah.
About what's going on. Sometimes you will, you know, like we play Netrunner. There's a lot of people that know Netrunner.
Yeah.
There'll be plenty of people that watch that have never seen Netrunner. And so it kind of gives us a format that lets us do gameplay for whatever we want, which is step number one. We wanted a way to, again, you've said it several times, but it's finding a way to make it make sense for us to do the videos we want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what this format is. But then, of course, like if anyone new is watching, whether it's Trailblazer or some new game, it should be really approachable for them, but it should be just as enjoyable for someone that designed Trailblazer.
Yeah.
Like that's fully immersed in it. So
That's the hope.
we'll see if we pull it off. If you haven't seen that yet, I would very much appreciate you checking it out and leaving a comment either on that video or the Discord channel to let us know what you think. And there's plenty more coming in that series.
We should probably name those like Tabletime Episode 1 or something. Maybe after the campaign is over, maybe we'll do that.
I have thoughts on that.
Cool.
We'll
You
come
just
back
let
to
it
that.
speak for itself?
Well, so
Or we could call it
episode
TT.
numbers. Episode numbers are really helpful for referencing.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're like, oh, on like episode 18, if you're wanting to say a specific, let's say we do, I'm assuming as an example, we're planning on doing the Trailblazer video we posted. We have another gameplay coming, not next week, but the week after for Trailblazer.
For Trailblazer, same format, but different content.
But let's say 9 months from now, we get a production copy and we want to do another one. And then the game comes out and we want to do it with the expansion. Suddenly you have 5 Trailblazer Tabletime episodes.
Mhm.
So if I'm in the podcast saying, referencing an episode, being able to say episode 1
Or episode 18 or whatever, yeah.
is nice.
Yeah.
But it also, I don't know, something about it hits weird for me.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of text to put up in that title.
Yeah. But in the end, YouTube titles don't matter.
Nothing matters.
It just doesn't. I mean, the length of the title doesn't matter. When you're on a phone looking at YouTube videos, you see X amount of text, and then if it said episode 82 at the end there,
You wouldn't,
just
yeah.
for ease of reference. Anyway. More on that later. Another thing that we haven't posted yet, but you can kind of sneakily find, is a documentary we did with 3 players of Earthborne Rangers. So if you go to the Earthborne Trailblazer campaign and scroll through, you'll eventually find the Earthborne Impact. We'll be publishing that next week. But again, that's another one of those. I would love to hear what people think about it.
Dude, check out
Maybe
this.
have thoughts.
The Parthenon, perfectly round, hole in the middle. I really enjoyed the format. Did a bunch of pausing to read cards and stuff. The editing was extremely good. Jonathan and John. And
Put it
then
on the review.
Caleb said that video ruled. It was an informative, relaxed time and definitely conveyed that feeling you just mentioned. So kudos. Boom. Brand promise delivered. Here we are, baby.
Love it.
We did it. We finally did it after 20 years.
Did
we
what?
found the format.
We've been cooking on that format for like 3 or 4 years.
we found the format.
actually. We remember that Card Game Chronicle was a title we were working with for a while, and we did like a whole test episode with Star Wars TCG.
Didn't we do it with Android Netrunner?
That was a different phase. That was another test. We did that. So we did a Star Wars
We'll have to put out the lost
So
tapes.
I remember being back in the warehouse when our offices weren't even built yet, watching the first draft of the Star Wars TCG
That's
episode.
right.
You remember that? And then we did the Netrunner one too.
I smoked you in that game, didn't I?
I don't remember that business. Who knows? It's lost to time and space. Anyways, all that to say, new format, and then Trailblazer got announced.
Documentary is amazing. Also, Daniel and Haley and Sean. So Daniel brought this chocolate from Switzerland.
It's so good.
It's really good.
It is so good.
It's really good. That's it. Brought a lot of it, and it's really good.
Yeah.
So I guess what they say is true. Swiss chocolate
Is
good chocolate.
good. Yeah, I've heard that my whole life. Swiss chocolate is good chocolate. They should put that on the package. Okay, Earthborne Trailblazer. Here's what I want to do. I just want to kind of take a stroll through this campaign page.
Okay.
Talk about
sure.
that. I asked in Discord this morning if anyone had specific things they'd like us to talk about. I got some really good questions on that. And then as we're talking,
we want to see that number go up.
We want to see that number go up. Smash that like button, ring that bell,
No,
subscribe.
don't do any of
Click
that.
the link, back the thing.
Back the thing. Back the
Honestly,
Kickstarter.
and if
You don't have to subscribe to us at all.
I don't even care if you like board games or card games or tabletop games or any of
Yeah.
this. If you're here watching this, first of all, and none of those statements are true, I don't understand you.
Call
but
your friends.
second of all, watch the documentary,
Call
and
your
then
family.
you will be convinced why you have to support this company, Earthborne. Watch it, support it, and then I promise you will love this game. But we'll come back
get
to
your
that.
cat to back it.
So Earthborne Trailblazer, first of all,
Put the
at the
pets
top
in
of the
there.
page, they have a video. And this video is absolutely, it's Andrew Navarro insanity.
We could watch the video while we talk about the video, like my mom does.
Like a reaction video.
Yeah.
So I want. So this video, this is just the trailer. I
And
thought
there's
it,
the
I, I thought,
animation.
I thought it was there's
It's not the
animation
animated,
in the
yeah.
trailer.
Yeah.
But trailer, etc. Currently, as of right now, at $269,949 of their $150,000
I'd like to
pledge
see it
goal.
go to 270.
1,700 backers with 19 days to go.
Yeah, we need to get those numbers up. Those
Yeah.
are rookie numbers. What is
So-
it? Neuroscape gets like $16 bajillion.
It was Cyberpunk.
And meantime, Earthborne Games team is doing the most incredible work, perhaps on planet Earth, when it comes to board games. Come on.
Can you describe this box for me?
Yeah. So this box harkens back to a vibe that is, to me, late 80s, late 70s, early 80s kind of sci-fi, fantasy, like Dune, Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. It reminds me a lot of Galaxy 39, which apparently is how you say that. It's written 999, but you say 39 if you're cool. So it's Dark Crystal even has some kind of like vibes there.
It does remind me, like, even I have this roll card in front of me for one of these characters. Have you seen the animated Hobbit and Lord of the Rings
Yes.
films?
Yes.
It reminds me of that, and the like Princess Mononoke's
Mm-hmm.
Ghibli vibe.
I would see it as even like a movie poster for a fantasy Star Wars kind of.
Yeah, like back when they would like
thing.
draw it.
Yeah.
Like you would see like the drawn Star Wars poster
It's
vibe.
It's animate. It's like we've got a ranger at the top of the cover. There's a lot of mystery involved. Hoods are pulled over faces. There's what it almost looks like a dark kind of sorcerer in the background, but could also be a good guy. You just don't know, just like kind of mysterious and weird. And there's enough space around the side of the box to allow the graphic design of the box to shine beautifully, which is this matching color palette. The way that they've done the colors on the box, again, is very earthy. It's very cozy. They have this beautifully like kind of complementary color palette between the art piece and the border on the box, which is kind of a, this kind of like earth yellow, brown, what do they call it?
gold.
Travertine.
Yeah, I would
Travertine.
never have.
So
Haven't heard that word.
it
no.
is basically what the cross section of
You want me to
like the
describe
Grand
a
Canyon
curtain?
looks like. You know what I'm saying? So when you see the layers of the canyon walls, they're basically all of these kinds of colors. They're these like weird old reds and yellows and whatnot that is cut.
So this
through.
feels weird and old.
It feels not weird.
in an enchantment kind of way.
It feels ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
And full of possibility.
This is This is the kind of thing that it's new, but it looks old immediately, in a sense of like
It's iconic.
it is iconic.
It's like Ralph McQuarrie. It's iconic.
100 years from now, it would look as old and new as it did the day it was done, if that makes sense. How I feel about
Yeah.
this
If
box.
you stumbled upon this 500 years from now, you'd be like, this is a relic of beauty.
Yeah. So they did this
can't
really
wait.
cool thing with the scroll, which is like it's pulling from the map, which is in its own thing. And then if you scroll down, you kind of see the full board, which I hadn't seen until not that long ago. You see the mountains kind of going through the middle and this big
Wow.
lake over to the
Yeah.
side. And the player boards with the tokens and the cards and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
it's important to note this is a massive map.
Yeah, so-
if you're watching, this is apparently about 20% of it.
Well, and I don't know if that's sideways, but I don't know if this is fully to scale of what they're doing. But I also know they kept saying this was 20%.
Yeah.
Which would be a fifth of the map.
Yeah.
But it's going to be on a 6-panel board, which is a very common board game board size.
Is this
for the
one
bigger
panel?
game.
You think?
No, this is bigger than a panel.
Okay.
Because a sixth is less than 20%.
Yes, that's right.
So
checks out. Math checks out.
you don't multiply this by 6 as a 6-panel board.
Yeah.
If that
It does. It
Makes
does make
sense.
sense. But the idea of even 3 to 4 times as much of this in front of me is a delight.
Yeah, well, and you can kind of get a taste for it with this picture because this is basically you can see it here.
Mm-hmm.
It like ends.
Yeah, I can
that
see
a little bit.
All right, so hey, hold on, Zach. Before we get any further, I don't want anybody who's listening to this to kind of drift away on
Okay.
the podcast in particular. There's a couple of things I think are really important to note. One, this is not Earthborne Rangers ported to a board game. Okay? It's not the same thing.
Yeah, here's the official first impressions.
It's very different. It feels different. It plays different. It brings in the things that you think of that Earthborne Rangers is doing that are particularly unique. There is an ecology around you that is constantly moving and changing based on things that you have no control over. Well, you have some control, but the environment around you is changing. So predators are showing up, prey is going away, prey is showing up, plants are going away, plants are showing up. It is moving, so there's like weather and stuff. So things are happening around you as you explore the world. You're meeting people, you're going on missions and quests, and you're seeing what they have to say, and you're saying, yes, I want to go do that for you, or no, I don't want to go do that for you. You are buying items from the tableau in the middle of the board. Is it tableau? What's a tableau even mean to board gamers? All these terms mean things.
Tableau would be like
It's a drafting.
you're
it's
building a
draft.
tableau of like an engine
Yeah.
over on your side of the thing.
It's like you put the items out, and then you can buy them, and then they go out. There's a market. Yeah.
Not buying them. You're using your spirit to trade with others.
Yes, you're.
It's a reciprocal kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's not corporate.
Yeah.
Well, but spirit's just another currency, isn't it, Jonathan?
So
It's just a number.
let's zoom out a little real quick, actually, on this thing.
You zoom out more.
Well, so the thing I caught some of these comments where it's like, this is not Earthborne Light,
Right.
which I want to be clear about.
Totally different. It's totally different experience.
Earthborne Rangers to me is one of my favorite card games, period. And as a card gamer, it would be easy to think that the really approachable, really accessible board game version of Earthborne would be almost like a watered down version
Right.
or a light version, and I don't feel that way at all.
No.
This is, it has the same spirit of Rangers,
It's open world.
but it's a completely different game. It does feel very open world, and it's almost like you're playing a single day in a Rangers campaign during a session, except for little more extensive than a day.
Except it spans basically indefinitely as long as you want. So the things that are the same, it is open world sandbox style. You do have a ranger that you're basically kind of building and customizing a bit. You are using that ranger to wander around the basically the valley and beyond the valley in the world of Earthborne, and you are stumbling upon random things that happen, and you're deciding whether to chase those leads or not. And then you also are trying to help with various crises that show up around the board. And the way that you lose the game is if all of the rangers back home at Lone Tree Station, it starts with 10, but you can customize these levers as much as you want. So as crises come up around the world, the map, these rangers, these kind of like ranger tokens, are going to deploy to those crises to take care of them. And if enough rangers are retired or lost or busy doing those things, that there's no more left at Lone Tree Station, then you will lose the game. So you can lose and win this game. Unlike Earthborne Rangers, which doesn't exactly have a binary switch, you're going to either win or lose a game of Trailblazer.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can feel like you've lost Earthborne Rangers.
You can definitely feel that way. But in particular, the game ends and you have either won or lost.
Yeah, and someone in the comments was saying it's kind of in the middle because it's almost like playing a full campaign of Rangers in a single session.
Yeah.
Which I think is true. And because of that, like someone was asking about playtime earlier. I'm guessing this will be like 1 to 2 hours in a normal thing, but I think that is hugely one of the things that is talked about at some point. One of the gameplay videos is like in our game we played that for gameplay 2, we played to 3 badges, 3 points basically. In the first game we posted, they played to 4, but having this as an adjustable, like, do you want to play to 10 and you have a much longer, more expansive, you can hit notes of the story you maybe don't get to.
Yeah.
But it's definitely trying to, and it's not as much about making it light as much as how would you experience let's say 5 or 10 days of an Earthborne campaign in a single session and a single game night, right?
With people who would never touch a card game.
Well,
and
specifically
would never
that.
deck build.
And the key difference is you don't build a deck. You sit down with a character and you start playing. And it very much like, so this weekend I played Fate of the Fellowship,
nice.
which is a game I think that will get referenced a lot. Games that will get referenced a lot in comparison or in a category with this. And it's sort of like calling the Avatar the Realm event for Sorcerer World Championship.
1 to 5 players.
Is Fate of the Fellowship and Pandemic. And there are elements that I think you can feel similar about. Like Fate of the Fellowship has a similar thing where, and I think Pandemic does this too, where basically the board is alive in a certain kind of way. And so things are, in this case, it's like prey and predators and fauna are moving around and doing stuff, whether or not you're there. And you can see that it's happening over there. And so in comparison, like just, it definitely has that like alive board state that is happening. Whereas like in Rangers, I have no idea what's going on in Spire when I'm not there.
Right.
And it might, it's abstracted, but it's like, it may feel like stuff was happening there while you were gone because the next time you show up, it's like, hey, if A, B, or C has happened, read this entry. And then you read it. And it's like, oh no, it's been flooded because there's a flood going on. Whereas in this, you almost, it's like it's visually happening in front of you where like crisis spawns and crisis has hit the board and animals are moving around and stuff. And so it's like, oh, that presence of like things are happening when you're not there hits a lot harder for me.
That's true. Here's the primary. You got something, John? I think it is relevant that we had a blast and completely forgot about the win condition, says Sean. Sean was one of the beautiful players who came and played the game here. Yeah, and we did forget about it. I literally went on a rabbit chase just with maps trying to find various treasures.
You found a map in a cache, and then that map led you to a map, and that map led you to a map, which then eventually led you to what? What was the...
I actually had to then trade in my final map instead of going to find it so that we could save the villagers.
You gave up on your quest.
Yeah.
For us.
I had to actually play the game. But here's the primary loop of the game is that there are 2 kind of variables. There's your lose condition, which is all the ranger tokens are gone. And there's the win condition, which is you get the requisite number of ranger badges, which are equivalent to victory points. And so if you start out, you can set, and I'm sure they'll have, basically suggestions, how many rangers are at Lone Tree. So this is basically the clock of how long it's going to take until I lose. And then you have the ranger badges, which is a clock of how much I need to do in order to win. And as you adjust those 2 numbers, you're going to get a harder or longer or easier, etc. game. And so you're wandering around the world to get victory points. There are a variety of ways, many of which we don't even know about. So sometimes it might have been, I think Fisher said it was likely that whenever I would have achieved that 3rd map objective and found an ancient relic or something, that may have had a victory point on it. I don't know that going in. But you can find things that have victory points. You can go and talk to companions that show up in the travel deck or in the explore deck. And if you do the things that they need to get help, akin to delivering the biscuits kind of stuff, you might get a victory point for that. You might get 2 victory points if it's a long string of things that you have to do. And so you're finding companions. They're telling you how you can help. As you help them by doing various things in the world, then completing those quest lines gets you victory points. And then meantime, there are crises that are spawning around the map. And as you don't deal with those, the ranger tokens start getting eliminated from the board, which means that you're closer and closer to losing. Now, if you want to, or if you want to split your forces or whatever, you can go and help with the crises to not have the ranger tokens basically leave the board and go back to Lone Tree and stay safe. So if you want to use your energy and time to go help put out all the problems that are going on in the world, then that will continue to make the game last longer and longer and longer because the ranger tokens will not be lost. But if you're doing that, a lot of times you're not going and getting the ranger badges. But maybe one of your party is like trying to complete this quest and the other two are trying to make sure that these crises don't erupt in such a way that the game will end before the ranger badges are gained. So it's got this, you can go wherever you want, you can do whatever you want, and there's light pressures in every direction, but it's not very linear in that, you know, you have to go do this thing and then you succeed, fail, then you do this thing, succeed, fail, this thing, succeed, fail. You're kind of deciding all the time, well, that crisis over there is like, I guess the Lone Tree guys will deal with that, and we might lose 2 rangers to it because they retire, they have to recover, but like we don't have to waste our time going all the way over there. And these crises are going to spawn randomly based on the event cards that happen at the beginning of the round, and that of course brings the world to light. Oh my gosh, a flood has happened, or maybe a fire, or maybe it's a fine day and everything's cool. And so, like for me, I'm thinking about in the long scheme of what would this game look like for me in an ideal world. And again, we've only played a prototype. It's all very basic components.
Vertical slice, et cetera,
vertical slice, et cetera. This is a very tiny version of this game. I love, Zach, the idea that like, what would it look like if we went to like 20 ranger badges and had 5 ranger tokens on Lone Tree?
I mean, I can imagine there would be, like every time we ran into someone, there were usually at least 2 branches that you could pursue with that person, whether it's fix all the spire lines and do whatever, or go to spire and do X. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those characters have one of the options that you maybe couldn't even complete unless you had time to get to 15 or whatever it is. And you just wouldn't know that until you knew that.
And what that means to me is that this is the kind of game that, and this is kind of, sometimes I really just want this, rarely get to do it, but love the idea of it, is I could just make a variant of this based on those 2 variables where we could play for like 6 hours. And we could level up our characters in a big way, and we could really go on a long campaign style feel for a 1 6-hour session, or we could play a 1 hour with 2 ranger badges and 10 ranger tokens. Just kind of adjust the difficulty and time there. So I just love the idea that maybe one day you and I could sit around this giant map, Jonathan, maybe get a couple of other friends together, and spend all day just exploring around, leveling up our characters, engaging with the world, fighting back these crises, helping our companions, exploring the map, finding treasure. That to me is very exciting, and I like that it gives us the levers to do that.
Yeah, and so we played our like teach game. We played our game on camera. We watched the other game that got played on camera, and I watched 2 other games. And in this thin vertical slice, all 5 of those games felt so radically different. That's another question I've seen poking through a lot, is replayability. I get a sense that you could play this 20 times easily before you even, like, the number of things I want to go back and do, where it's like, oh, if you have the canoe and this card comes up, or if Ren Kobo's with you in this moment, it's like, card, oh dang, like we just saw him and we didn't bring him, but now, like, to have those stars align, it's just like the Earthborne Range. That is another thing that's similar to Earthborne Rangers, where it's like they somehow create this world that feels alive, that branches, and that no matter what path you go on, there are these little pockets where like, it makes it feel when they do align, because they will align at some point in both games, really special. Where it's like, oh man, we happened to get the canoe right before we drew the card that needs the canoe, and then this thing happened.
It reminds me of like single player RPGs where you'll get halfway through and then you'll hit a point and then it's like, oh my gosh, if I had done this instead, this door would be unlocked and I don't know what's behind there. And so I want to replay the whole game just to see what that option is. But there are a million of those.
To string that together to get the first card again. Is not going to be overly common.
Well, you got those trail markers,
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Just in kind of the initial impressions, thinking, what was your favorite aspect of the game
Mm-hmm.
so far?
Yeah, so I answered this last time whenever we were doing
with
basically
Andrew.
the wrap up with Andrew and the team. But the thing that I loved the most about Trailblazer is funny because it's the thing that's almost the least developed, I would say, which is the fact that, okay, so it's kind of hard to understand, but maybe it's not. Whenever you draw, what are they, progress cards? I think that's right. Draw terrain cards. So whenever you draw terrain cards and you encounter one, there's a little box that tells you where the stuff takes place. Like there's a little icon up there. And that icon, it's not like most board games, you would have this big map and then you would have a grid on it, and the grid would be labeled A through whatever and 1 through whatever. And then the card would say A18, spawn the thing, put it there, or go to A18 to complete this mission and talk to whatever. But in Trailblazer, there is no graphic design markings on the board whatsoever. It's just strictly a giant piece of art. And so for you to understand where you need to go to complete a mission or where there's companion wants to be, they just put a tiny little, here's the thing you're looking for on the map.
Yeah. And then you start scanning
and
the map.
then you put your head down and you have to, there's a more romantic word than this, but you have to fully ingest the map.
Yeah.
You have to look at every piece of it. I spent probably 2 to 3 minutes trying to find this particular hut that was on a card that I needed to know, where is this? What region is it in so that I can complete this mission? And it had me looking at every hut on the map. And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm starting to recognize, I saw the next card and I was like, oh, I actually know where that is because I had studied the map before.
Yep.
And that's the one with the ball on top of it right here. And I know that that's up in Lone Tree.
Because I've seen it. Yeah.
Because I've seen it. And so I don't want to say courage, right? But it's like there's
it's confidence.
They're confident enough to abstract the entire experience out to just look at the art and find where the thing is.
Yeah, and as an example, when you're traveling, if you're in the forest, you're looking at the forest top card of the forest deck, and if you can't find the thing in the middle, you take it as progress and look at the next card.
Yeah,
there's easily a world where you're in the space that has the thing and you just miss it.
Yeah.
In the same way that if we were out hiking and we were looking at a map and we went to this place and we're looking for a certain fountain or house or tree, you just miss the house.
Yeah.
Because you went down the wrong path or whatever it is.
So true.
But the game allows that to be true and it's okay.
Yeah.
Like you can
keep wandering around with the mission.
Keep wandering,
yeah.
And then
but eventually it's there.
Off to the races. But yeah, I definitely, having just played Fate of the Fellowship, their board is not like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I love maps. You had me at map, right? With any game. And I especially love the Middle Earth map, which is what the Fate of the Fellowship is on. But, every single location has a little bubble with the text of the name, Gondor and et cetera, Rohan. And there's a ton of stuff on the board that's kind of, so
icons and all that stuff.
So I kind of had the weird for a board game experience, having never played a game like Fate of the Fellowship. I played this first. And now having played it and now coming back and looking at this board, it is amazing the feeling difference that is happening here. It's just so Earthborne, but this just like openness and very much nature. It's like that we were talking about Where's Waldo earlier, which is part of it. But it's also, I genuinely feel like I'm looking at a really classy trail map.
Yeah.
Like if I were looking at we were on a trail and there were this is like the map you were looking at, but it's like the trail map without any markers. So it's like, I don't know what this building is right here.
Yeah.
But eventually a card will come up and tell me, this is what this building is. So your favorite is just a map that is just a map.
I think
and the like looking at the map,
the raw artistry that you engage with in the primary, most of the time where you're playing the game, you're staring at this map and it's not bedecked with any icons or lines or markers or arrows or whatever. And the regions are divided by the natural features themselves and the colors, not by a strict kind of, this is region A, B, C, D. It just makes it feel so much more alive and open and tantalizing. And Evan Simonet, I don't know. This is like a crazy artistic accomplishment.
Yeah. and
I just don't know how it's possible.
we've only seen part of it.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable to look at.
So the outside the map being the map, the thing that stuck with me the most was when you do encounter a card, you hand it to the player on the left, and you essentially, and you'll see this in the gameplay videos we posted, but there's basically different options that come up, and usually the options are related to the energy that you could possibly spend to do this, but the first part of the text is in bold. And it's more story-driven kind of text where it's like, I mean, sometimes there'll be like a flavor in italics kind of text, but then there'll be the options with the bold thing. And the bold would be like, help them make dinner, or go try to catch some fish, or leave. Those are your three options. And there are usually consequences to each of those options, but I'm reading it to you as the player on your left, and I'm reading just the story option. And then you have to make a decision based on technically the energy you're going to spend and or possibly have, but the narrative prompt, which
you don't get to see the result.
I actually think it's doing that better than Rangers is doing that.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm with that.
You essentially, because Rangers ask you to build a character, and the group I'm playing with has intended to try to lean more into the narrative and the story, but even then, they're just moments where it becomes mechanical because, like, I can see what the outcome, like you aren't interacting with the whatever location you're at, not knowing what the consequence of failure is or that kind of thing. And so I love the mindset that puts you in, where you're choosing a narrative choice, not a mechanical upside or downside. And sometimes it's good when you think it might be bad, and it's bad when you think it might be good. Not in a gotcha kind of way, but like it makes sense that whatever's happening is happening. And so that narrative piece, but also it's another layer of something unique going on there, which is like the tension that is created as the player. Like if you were on my left and you're reading it to me, and wondering what is going to happen when I make a choice, in the same way that if we got to a point in a trail, it's like, well, we can either head to that smoke over there, or we think the place we're trying to get is this direction. Which direction do you want to go? And you don't know. You actually don't know fully what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then you go towards the smoke, and it's like that German place we went to in the forest.
Yeah, dude,
and it's like
so awesome.
One of the best pub experiences of my entire life is over there by the smoke. But it also could be like a house is on fire, and you're going to go find people that are needing you to help put anyways, it's that kind of thing. So I think the tension it creates, and then the feel on both sides, whether I'm the one having to choose or I'm the one reading it to someone, the feeling it created while we were playing, to me, that is like one of the two most critical. And you already hit the map, but like the way it feels looking for things on the map, and like you're actually looking at a real place. Those two feelings to me are the heart of this whole game.
I've also heard, John, you might know more about this, but actually reading to other people is like a really big human thing that we don't do so much anymore. That's why kids love it so much.
It's like describing curtains.
But like we did that for many thousands, if not longer, whatever. I don't know how, again, the history of man reading to itself. But that is a programmatic evolutionary thing that we're very into. It's a way to bond. It's a way to share energy, stories, etc.
Similar to like me telling a story at a campfire.
Yes, exactly that
kind of thing.
Exactly that. Everyone gathers around. It's a big communal event, and so we used to do that a lot.
So that makes sense. Even when you get a card and you're reading the story bit, it's like, okay, I'm going to read to the group at this point.
I think it's very intentional that it's like that. Kevin Masuda, I think, has a great comment here. I haven't fully internalized any of these games, but after trying out Hub World, I've decided these guys are like prog rock or free jazz. If you can get through the noise, there's endless fun in there. And I do think that that's a really good description
of it.
It's just, if you come into Trailblazer with your understanding that this is verse, chorus, bridge, verse, end, you're going to be like, where's the verse? Where's the chorus? But if you just come into it as it's going to be a phenomenal experience, same thing with Rangers, I think is very similar, then you start to realize that oh man, maybe music isn't just verse chorus. Maybe there's something even better than that out there. Maybe this is the whole world I've never even thought about before, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very cool.
I think just kind of tail end of my first impressions of this game. I think this game, one, I think it's phenomenal, but I think that this game will bind itself hitting the table so much more easily than Earthborne Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
And I've even felt this. So my main Rangers experience has been in a 4-player group, which can be a challenge.
Yeah, it's a campaign game too.
Schedule.
Any campaign game is difficult,
and you have to keep scheduling it. And we've been doing the same campaign for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, we go way back. But it's like if you want to play with 2 or 3 people total, it is so much work.
Mm-hmm.
But
that is why it's amazing.
Oh, 100%.
Like all of that stuff.
It's like climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
Like the reason it's difficult, but it's worth it. But at the same time, there are so many moments where people I know that enjoy games. I would love to be able to play Rangers with them, but it's like I'm not starting a whole new campaign.
Yeah.
Because like I see you once a year, or we have this opportunity once or twice a year, and I can't have more than one of these like I can't have another every 2 or 3 months we're getting together to do it.
Yeah.
Like I don't have the space for it.
Yeah.
And it's solo all the way up to 5 people. And so like it is, and I feel like it would have been so easy for the Earthborne team to kind of phone this one in.
Yeah.
Like they already have a phenomenal game, and you could just make a version effectively where you don't have a deck and you're just kind of playing a single day, and they could have even made it a campaign if you want, or you can just do single days. And that is not what they turned in.
Mm-mm.
Like this is a totally different work.
It's a standalone thing.
It's
an absolute standalone thing.
And I think it is like a really perfect. It's not like I want to say it's a perfect introductory game for Earthborne to have, but at the same time, it doesn't feel introductory at all. Like I do think people that don't play board games or that don't normally play board games, this is the kind of game that I could play with them.
I think it's even possible that me, you, Serena, and Shannon could play this together.
And that is saying something. And I agree.
And they're not playing Rangers, Zach.
Yeah.
I had Shannon. We created a character. It took us like an hour and a half, and it was like awesome, just fun. But like we haven't done anything since. But we could have played an entire Trailblazer.
I think I could
session.
get my wife to play this, and that's a lot. Honestly,
that's
a
lot. Yeah.
But I just feel like it has so many use cases where. I feel like by the end, I will end up playing this way more than I play Rangers, as an example. Even though I love Rangers, and I'm day 19 in my campaign. I've played a lot of Rangers at this point. But like, it's just got so many use cases, and you can play 2 players when there's just 2 people hanging out. And it was the game immediately after I got through playing, I was ready to play again.
Yeah, same.
Like, and I think it would take a lot of times for me playing before I ever was like, okay, I need a break.
Do you know what it reminds me of in that way? Weirdly enough, this is not a comparison of anything mechanically, but you remember Takedo? Is that what it was? So we would play Takedo all of the time just because it's like, do you just want to like chill and just like, basically go on vacation and just like hit the spas or whatever? And it was like, yeah, I know the mechanics. I know how all this works. Yeah. Like it's not like a replayability in that sense. It wasn't that I was discovering anything new. But like, do you want to go hang out in the valley for a couple hours and just like, it's like, yes, every time. Yes, I do. Yeah. If I've got the hours, I do.
And it's definitely more, I love Takedo, one of my favorite games, but it's way more of a game than Takedo. That's the weird thing. It's like, it's so approachable and so friendly. And I think I could get people like my wife to play. I also think I could play it with like my 12-year-old niece.
Mm-hmm. You could also play it with your power gamer friends.
Yes,
and go
that's
explore
the key.
The freaking.
Like this weekend, I was playing Fate of the Fellowship, and it's like, Serena loves Lord of the Rings. No chance I'm going to get her to play that game. Zero. Like it would be terrible for all of us. But my power gamer friends want to play that. We play it on Legendary, and it's like just super intense and hard. And we make it feel like Lord of the Rings, and it's like, let's just get destroyed, And there's a place for that. But even that, like we played it a couple times, and it's the kind of game for me. I loved it. But also, I don't want to play it more than a couple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's heavy and it's hard. And it was. I will give Fate of the Fellowship a point on it wasn't brain burning hard.
Oh, nice.
Like all the complexity was on the strategic side.
Good.
Not the like computational side. But also it captures that feeling of Lord of the Rings where it's like very little hope, lots of despair, challenging, and you have to be really smart strategically. But anyways, I say that to say, again, this is hitting some of those notes, but it's a game that I feel like if I had a weekly board game night session, I could play it every week for a long time. I'm curious how far that is true, but given the size of the map that I've now seen, it's like I think it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, the other important thing too is that this is a card-driven narrative. So there's not a book to reference. You're not stopping and opening up like the campaign manual that you do in Earthborne Rangers. So you're drawing random cards, you're reading them, you're resolving them, you're moving on. And I know that was really important to Fisher in particular, that we tried not to have a manual that we have to have all these branching paths with. It's all on the cards. And we'll see it like in some of those terrain cards. As you said, there's the bold options, and then there's the secret bold options, which is if X, then you can choose this. If Y, then you can choose this. And you pull up that card and you read it, and then you don't even read those last two because you know that it's not true. And you're just sitting there like,
but
I got to know what happens when this is true. And then that's maybe the next game that you play is just that. Just trying to, to have the crossbow or whatever, the love crossbow or whatever in this game. And then going to, Spire and then meeting this companion and then
take
boom,
here, do this thing.
I get to trigger the thing.
Well, I do think one thing I love about both Rangers and Trailblazer is I feel like if I restarted a campaign of Rangers right now, I would behave like an more experienced Ranger. So I think what will happen is very similar here, where as you play your 10th time you're playing, you'll be an experienced Ranger. But that will actually just mean when certain things, you get the boat, it'll trigger. And it's like, I need to go here because I remember there's a side quest if I have the boat, but I've never had the boat until now, which then just unlocks. That's what I mean by like the replayability is so high. Where like in Fate of the Fellowship, you essentially, so for some comparisons real quick, Pandemic is like you have a board and then cards come out and it, crisis explode and there's a pandemic, so a disease is spreading and your whole goal is to like contain it or to eradicate the disease. Fate of the Fellowship is the disease thing is going on, but you also have objectives. So like you're trying to contain the board and the bad guys and the orcs and the Nazgul and all this stuff, but at the same time you're also trying to destroy the ring or any number of other objectives that are also going on top of trying to destroy the ring. So in this though, the pandemic-y, the crisis thing is happening, and it's like a pressure clock thing, but it has nothing to do with winning. It doesn't feel like you're trying to like contain it as much as like there's something going down here.
Yeah, and it's just sometimes it's just like whatever.
Yeah, just let it go, man. But you're actually like in Fate of the Fellowship, you have your objectives from the start. But in this, it's like you're actually going out to try to find people to help, and that is telling you what your objectives are. Your options are unfolding as you're discovering your options. Yeah, which I think is really cool. It hits at this. There is an essence of discovery that is built into everything Earthborne Rangers and Trailblazers doing, and it feels like that. You're like discovering the map and these little things that you'll want to come back later to try. And because it's a single session, you also don't have the like, well, I've got this knowledge and we'll come back to Meadow on day 12 to unlock this thing, as much as like, all right, re-rack it. See you next week, that kind of a thing.
Sean here saying, Trailblazer will be what I play with people when I want to share Earthborne with them. And Earthborne in the sense of like just the universe, the setting, the feel of what it means to be in this space. Rangers are what I'll play with people once they have bought in and committed. But to be clear, I'm not going to stop playing Trailblazer.
Yeah.
So like it's not like a binary switch that happens.
Well, that's if let's say my campaign for Rangers, we play every 3 months, once a quarter. Like the opportunities I have to play this game compared to that game are tremendously different. Because like there's just so many more organic moments that this can show up where we're gonna, my brother's coming over, we're gonna hang out on a Friday, and it's like, well, we're not gonna start a campaign. We can sit down for a session there, so it just hits way different.
What do you not like about the game, Zach?
What do I not like?
What was the thing that, because we obviously, we're in a weird position because we're not objective in the sense that we're only basically supporting the publishers and games that we already like. Yeah. So like it's not like we're like saying here's why this is great and here's why this is bad, because if there was enough bad we wouldn't be here at all. I mean,
if I were going to
roast Fisher,
roast him, yeah. No, if I were going to try to like be critical in like an almost intentionally negative way, not even really intentionally negative, just where could I see problems being? So I do think, unlike Rangers, there is like the replayability will be lower. Although I think Rangers replayability is absurdly off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's so much easier to play, if you're really into this and you play it a lot, I could see you getting to a point where you have kind of done it.
Mm-hmm. You feel like you know where every story is branching, and okay, I'll go get the boat over here.
Yeah,
I'll go get the
and I
help
think
the
that
kids.
You could almost assess that by how many times does it take to plane before the vast majority of the time you're not discovering anything. So not encountering new people, not going down different paths, not finding new things on the map that you didn't notice. That sense of discovery is so important to this, the way it feels. And people that are like really into it, like I have board game friends that play board games 3 or 4 or 5 nights a week.
And you can play it solo too.
And you can play it solo. You could just play it with 2 people, and you play it with 5 people. But like, how many times do you actually play it before you feel like that?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's way more than I will ever get to play it.
Yeah.
Whatever that number is.
Yeah.
Especially with the pace at which I would play it. But I could see that if it's a board game, right? It's not a lifestyle game. So coming in from Earthborne Rangers, if you're looking for like, this is a part of my identity as a game, it's probably going to be less expansive than those games.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike Earthborne Rangers, I don't know this to be true or not, but I doubt it's going to get nearly as much expansion content over time. You also don't have the customization, so you pick a character. It is what it is. You have the market and the items and stuff, but it's not like you're choosing.
Mm-hmm.
You're not deck building.
Yeah.
So my complaints are it's not a card game.
Yeah.
I don't know what would you?
So.
But did you guys?
Yeah.
They have an expansion already planned for Trailblazer.
Mm-hmm.
Who said that? Is that true?
Yeah, it's on the thing.
Why did nobody tell me this?
What's it called, Zach?
I can.
Am I supposed to be paying attention?
I mean, I don't feel like I need to tell you.
Can't
things
I be
that you can read.
spoon-fed things?
Yeah.
I'm so tired, man.
Okay. So here's what I want to do. You tell me your critique if you have any, and then
I do have a critique.
After that, I just want to look at the pledge levels. So, and we'll get to the expansion as well as the Earthborne Rangers expansion that is in here. Surprise. Mm-hmm. And then also I want to answer the questions from Discord before we get out of here.
Okay.
So what if you were going to be critical, what would you be critical
of? I think the things that I felt through a couple of playthroughs, there were 2 things. One, I wanted the gear to be more impactful. I feel like there's a lot of gear that I bought that I didn't ever really get to use much. And that to me is a really fun part of character identity, is like, oh, I've got this thing and this other thing, and like, and then it's just like, well, it just never shows up. There's never really a reason to use it. So that's either a vertical slice thing, or it's the gear needs to be tweaked thing, or it's just the fact that we were on a small part of the map and that's the vertical slice thing, and these kinds of gears, like I had the machete or whatever, would be more beneficial way over here in the other side of the mountains, what have you. The other thing is, to me, I would always want more things to do with experience. So you can level up your stats or you can flip your card. But if it was like that guide, for instance, is one of the characters that you can start with. If there were like 3 leveled up versions and I chose the one that I wanted when I leveled up, that would be like such a huge increase in value for me. I like, there's a simplicity of this gets better in this one way. But if it's like, dude, I'm going to play like this guide style, this game, and I'm going to try to get these pieces of gear that complement that and like build something a little bit. But again, this is we're card gamers. So that level of RPG expression too is really important to me. So feeling like I have more unique choices when it comes to using experience would be probably the thing that I felt most. I wish that was different. About.
Well, and it's hard to be overly critical because you're playing a vertical slice of a game that's still in development.
Yeah, it could change
as well.
All that stuff could change massively.
So like a lot of the things that maybe. It's hard to say, but like when you're first playing a game, if it's the final, like I was playing Fate of the Fellowship, and it is the final game. So if I have a problem with the way something is happening or going, then like I have that problem. Whereas if you're playing it, and Andrew Fisher's sitting here, and you're like, oh, that's kind of weird, and he's like, yeah, that's not quite done yet.
Yeah, he takes notes.
You sort of just like gloss over it, and you're like, okay, like of course, that'll be different later. So you're not even thinking that way. All right, hey, real quick, actually, before we cover the tiers and get to the expansion, let's hit these questions. I think it's topical. So Mustaphalis on Discord says, "Good morning. I would love to possibly hear you guys' thoughts, as much as you may have them, given your time with the vertical slice, on how Trailblazer may or may not present quieter moments and moments of awe and discovery.
Wow.
I don't think it's an outright negative if Trailblazer takes on a more immediate ticking clock type feeling.
It's not that.
But one of the many elements that makes Ranger such a beauty is when you have those simple, emergent moments of wonder. Do you see or do you expect there will be space for this Earthborne staple in Trailblazer? Are these moments that might come from companions or endeavors? In any case, thanks again for all the hard work and showcasing this game."
What an awesome question. Yeah, so this is a really good thing to make sure that is understood. It does not have a ticking clock style stress to it. It doesn't create that for whatever reason. There technically is a bit of a clock to it, but it doesn't feel like you would feel during pandemic or something like that.
Well, and it definitely doesn't feel that way at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Like you kind of start playing, and maybe there's a crisis, and a couple of Rangers go there, and you're kind of chilling. There was a point, I think it was, I don't remember which game it was in now, but at some point, it's when you traded in your map, right? Where it's like, oh, we kind of need to start playing the game now because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, that's a huge difference between it and like Pandemic or Fate of the Fellowship, where that pressure is felt immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure here is like at the very beginning. What do you guys want to do?
Yeah, there's no crises really.
You can go wherever you want. You know, you see some animals floating around. There may be a crisis or something, but like it's like, you want to go east, you want to go west. Again, it'd be like you just got to the trail, you pull out the map, and it's like, all right, where do you guys want to go?
Mm-hmm.
And you start hiking.
Yeah,
and then you're off to the races.
I think there is definitely room for like the awe and wonder. I think it's achieving that to a maximum degree, and it goes back to the basically praise for the map system itself and the lack of noise on it.
Yeah.
Is that I don't think there was a single time when we were all playing this game together when most of the time we weren't all just staring at the map.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's in relation to cards in front of you and you're trying to actually find where these things are. Sometimes you're just like, oh my gosh, I just noticed something I had never noticed before.
I did that constantly.
Like the little painting. I saw that. Like I missed that the first time, and then the second time I was playing, I saw that, and it's like, oh my gosh, they're painting the like bird thing, and then why is that fireplace there? Who's camping there? So I think there's so much kind of reflection that just happens getting lost in this art.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Well, and I think that's you start playing the game, and your Rangers will start at Lone Tree, and like. It's built into everything. So you need to go discover people to help. So you have to start exploring. And then you discover things constantly. And once you're discovering things, or every time you're seeing the back of cards, you're now looking for new things on the map. And then you discover, oh, look, there's a Lutrinol there that I didn't notice, or whatever it is. And then you also have even the items. Like some of them come in face up, some don't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, you only get to know what this item is if you go to this place on the map. And if you picture it, giant maps, like, man, I have 3 turns to get us all the way to the other side of the map.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
I need to know. I've never seen an item face down over there.
Yeah.
I need to see what that is. So it's like encouraging you to go to explore and interact with the world.
Mm-hmm. And like sometimes my entire game, I guess I'm prone to do this, was there's a 5 cost or, mental energy or spirit item over there. And I've got 2 spirits, so I can't just buy it. So I want to buy like a 2 spirit thing. I want to negotiate it to trade for a 2 spirit thing. And then I can trade that 2 spirit thing in with my other 2 spirit next round to get a 4 spirit thing. And then I can trade that 4 spirit thing in one of my spirit to get the 5 spirit thing. And it's like, yay, I have this big cool item.
But it took trading up from a bag of peanuts
all
the way to a house.
And I'm like doing that instead of handling a crisis or trying to find companions or anything like that. I'm just like, let me just get that item for a while. And there's space and room to do that and not feel like you're letting the team down.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is very cool.
Let me get a question here.
Yeah, question, Jonathan.
Danny,
what's up, guys? Danny, good night. Just finished your video last night. So cool. It's really fascinating comparing and contrasting the differences between Blazer and Ranger. Hey, there you go. That's cool. Which features excite you the most?
It's the map.
Yeah, that's right. It's the map.
It's the map. Map's goated.
Yeah.
KT on Discord. Main question I have is if the game is casual, people friendly, or it's more for hardcore players who live for board games. I wonder if people who normally don't play board games could enjoy it from time to time. With my husband, we're trying to engage our teenage nephew with more cool stuff.
It is casual. Okay, so I'll say this for me because I'm in the frame of my wife here. It is casual board gamer friendly. So if you like Splendor, if you like Settlers, if you like Ticket to Ride, these kinds of, there's kind of an element, there's a layer of people who play a lot of board games that don't go into like War of the Ring or those kind of Middle Earth serious games. But they're also not just playing like Monopoly and Wahoo or whatever. So that layer of players, this is a brilliant experience for them. I think the person who's never played board games can definitely have this as their introduction to an experience like this, like Trailblazer, but they will be overwhelmed by the first few rounds. And so you need to be like, I tried to teach completely non-board gamey people Wingspan one time. And when you do that, you realize how much you take for granted about how things work, like what is around, and that there's turn structures, and that things happen in individual moments, and why would I commit energy here versus there, and what does scouting mean, and why would I want to look at the top of the terrain deck, and what is resting. So I think it's worth it to do that, but just be aware that there is still hand holding, because this is coming from people who are a part of the deep board gaming community and designers and publishers. Like we're all steeped in this, and the Earthborne team is definitely steeped in it. So while it is a casual friendly game, you would still need to make sure that you're doing a good job of onboarding people into the idea of how do I spend energy, for instance, and what does leveling up even mean?
Yeah, I definitely think there's layers to that, because there are games that if you had 2 or 3 people trying to play that have never played anything past like Monopoly, would be great onboarding games. I picture like Splendor.
It is a great one.
It's like I could hand that to any number of people, and I'd be like, you'll figure this out. This is definitely layers past that. At the same time, compared to like Earthborne Rangers, I think it would be a lot, while difficult for totally new people if they were just by themselves to do it. They could get this.
Yeah.
It would take some
Don't
time.
start them on Rangers.
Yeah. But I do think if someone there is familiar with the game and or board games in general, that group can easily, or that person can easily guide people through this. And the lack of pressure means that you can kind of figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
Which is a cool vibe. But certainly way more approachable than Earthborne Rangers. But also, as we said earlier, like board gamers, real, like hardcore board gamers, whatever you want to call them. I don't think that they would play this and think this is like lesser or not enough. Like people that I know that play board games a lot don't play Splendor.
Yeah.
No knocking at Splendor, but like it's just not enough for them to actually stay engaged with it. Same with Catan. After enough times, you're
you kind of have your strategy, you execute it, it works or it doesn't. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, next question. Ben, looks like this is being marketed as kind of Earthborne Light. Is there any way in which this game delivers more than Earthborne Rangers? I have light games for light game time, and I have Earthborne for when I want to play it, but I'm not sold on the need to force those two to overlap when I already own 1 million games.
Yeah, not Earthborne Light, strictly. Just not Earthborne Light. You may as well think of this as a totally different experience in the Earthborne world. Again, the crossovers are you're playing Rangers, you're exploring an open world. There's an emergent narrative that's happening by interacting with that narrative. You gain victory points. If you gain enough victory points before the Ranger tokens are gone, you win the game. And that's kind of where it ends. You don't have a hand of cards. You're not doing all of the standard Rangers resting in days and campaigns and campaign log. And the core gameplay loop is quite a bit different. The way it feels very different to play this game than it does Rangers. I would not say that if you can't handle the intensity of Rangers, you should go for Trailblazer or vice versa. I think there are some people that will love Trailblazer that won't like Rangers at all. And I think there are people that love Rangers that may not care for Trailblazer because they are different kinds of experiences, but they are both very Earthborne in the way that you feel when you play them.
Well, and I think there's a spirit there that is shared, but also the same team made it. So to me, it's less how do you transform Earthborne Rangers into a really approachable, accessible board game, and more if you wanted to make a board game in this setting by the people who are developing and designing Earthborne Rangers, but as a single game night board game experience, what game would they produce? This is the game that would come out. And by its nature of being a board game that you can play in a single session instead of a long campaign that's customized deck building, et cetera, and a campaign book and all this stuff, it is more accessible and approachable. But this is playing just the vertical slice feels like a full board game.
Yeah.
Like this is a board game for board gamers, which is more approachable than a card game.
Yeah, always. Yeah, basically always.
Just by its nature on the surface. However, and I don't think it's like it was less intimidating to me than easily by a lot than Fate of the Fellowship, as an example. There's a lot going on in Fate of the Fellowship, and it's, I would say, intense. But I think board gamers will enjoy it, and new people to board gaming would love it as well, if this is actually something they're wanting to pursue.
Yeah, you would know the person that would want to play this.
All right.
I know the person who would not want to play this. I know a lot of people who would not want to play this, in fact. Too abstract. Too not on rails enough, not a clear objective all the time. Like it's the same kind of with Rangers, right? If you're trying to power game something and you want to really express your mastery over, the game, or nothing Earthborne makes is probably that.
Sure.
Although Hub World, you definitely
I think Hub World can get there. But
stomp.
I agree. Like the vibe here is like discovery, exploration, not build the best engine and dominate. Kind of.
What is it Sean said in the documentary? Power fantasy.
Yeah.
It's not a power fantasy kind of game, which is completely accurate.
Yeah. All right. Last question from Discord is from Kizu. How awkward or not are the windows on the backs of the cards? I don't know if I've saw other games where you shuffle with the cards with different backs, so I wonder how it's perceived when you actually play it. I imagine you get used to it, but it's still one of the interesting decisions that were done. Not a big deal for a co-op game, and likely more pros than cons, but something that could be interesting to talk about.
I don't fully know what that means.
So like on the back of the card where you have the top and the bottom that show forest and then the icon in the back.
Yeah.
There's a deck of cards that have card backs that don't match. So it's like you have three different, we had three different decks with backs that are all different. And every time you get a new card, that's not something that I think has been done by anybody where, you draw a card because nothing matches. You look at the top and now you're searching the map. It's like every card you're drawing, you're like looking at the map and every card back is different. So I didn't find that awkward.
I guess the best that I can say is I didn't notice that was a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it in a way that it's like, oh, this is weird or awkward, or I didn't even know it was happening. I was just drawing progress.
Yeah. Yeah. It was completely intuitive and natural for me. And then it was cool though, because like every card drawn is a progress, but every time a card is drawn, you're looking at the top. If you can find the matching thing in your region, you encounter it. But it meant every time every player at the table was drawing a card, everyone at the table was looking at that card back and then looking at the map. And I think it's one of the cool things. Like I've definitely played games recently where it feels like you're playing side by side instead of playing a game together. And by its nature, every time someone's taking a turn and they go to that travel step or the explore step, we're playing the game together. And the game is, where's Waldo? Right? Yeah. Which is like, okay, let's see. Can we find this hut? And we're literally all talking about like, oh, is it here? Is it here? And this is on a small part of the map.
And then someone's like, oh, I think I've seen that before. I think it's over at Spire or whatever.
Yeah, 100%. And then it's like, okay, we found it. Now hand it to the player on the left. Now we got to read the narrative thing, which is like, oh, you ran into Ren Kobo. It's like, do you want to take over his cart for the day or do you want to do this?
And if you're in the same region, do you want to help this person with their test? Yeah. Or if you're the guide, you can help when they're nearby. So when you're in regions next to them.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of kind of interactive points, and a lot of the roll cards. There's 10 rolls. Is that true? Do we know that?
Well, that's a good segue into this. So let's break these down real quick. So the base level pledge is the core game, which is $80, $20 off MSRP. Seemingly, so eventually $100 MSRP board game. Next up is the deluxe edition, which is $150 or $40 off of MSRP. Comes with the core game. The deluxe component upgrade kit, which looks like it has the nice energy tokens, the crisis tokens, the trail markers, the meeples. It's also got this Lone Tree meeple stand dice tower.
That, unfortunately, is the destroyer of wallets.
that is.
That might get me.
Also, there's one die in the game, which is
the die. Oh my gosh, we forgot about the die. That should have been my favorite thing.
I don't know if it was actually my favorite. It definitely was some of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
You have this, sometimes options you choose, there's a die symbol, and then you roll it, and oftentimes it's just painful. But 1 in 6 sides currently is an XP side.
You just get a free experience.
And we rolled that sucker every chance we got.
Dude. That was so fun.
So deluxe component upgrade kit and the Visitors from Afar expansion.
It's crazy. Actually, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
that
it's right. It's
existed
this little
yet.
box right here. It looks like.
What does it mean? What does it do?
Well, we'll
We
get
don't
to
know.
that. We'll get. I think there's some more context later on the
Okay.
page. So then there's the all-in $270, $50 off MSRP. It comes with all the stuff we previously said, but also the Fountain Pack for Earthborne Rangers. So this is a little expansion in the animated short.
Mm-hmm.
So they posted an animated short in the campaign. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it. Absolutely stunning, beautiful. I really hope that they get to explore that version of Earthborne in some form factor.
Mm-hmm.
An animated show for Earthborne would be stellar. Anyways, in the short, there's this fountain. I'll just leave it at that. And this expansion has a shot from that thing on the cover, and it's for Rangers. And also, it's important to know if you play Rangers and don't want the board game, etc., you can actually come on and just get that.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't want to do any of that, eventually we will have that available for purchase.
Unless all of them you get
I
backer-kitted.
find that really. Anyways, so the Fountain Pack, it also comes with the World of Earthborne art and lore book. And this is interesting because the form factor, as shown here, has changed from the kind of typical sheet of paper size to like a square.
Yeah, coffee table book.
Coffee table book.
Yeah.
And it does come with, apparently, basically the previous lore book on top of that much again.
Fisher said 100 more pages.
Yeah. Limited edition art prints. Looks like there's 4 of those. And then the exclusive all-in Ranger badge, which you can see here. It looks wooden. And it's like the badges you're looking for in the game. It's like, this is the icon I most associate with Earthborne Rangers, for what it's worth. And then there's other things. So you can be a supporter for $50. You get your 4 art prints, and you're basically just telling them, keep going. And then if you keep scrolling down the page, let me see. It's explaining the game and showing the token. You have Andrew Fisher's face on his little the teach video. Here you go. Here's the card counts. So you were saying the roll cards. There are 10 rolls.
10 rolls. All right, let me read a few of them because I like to. So they all have different stats, typically 2s and 1s, and different things. And they have a level up, so they're 4 experience to level up. But this basically, they've given themselves a lot of levers on these characters that you can break easily. I mean, you could print 10, 15 more characters over the next couple of years, and everyone goes back to the table and plays more Trailblazer to see it. So the guide.
I mean, you could have released a pack of cards that's just new people.
Yeah.
And it's a totally new game now.
That's got to be Strangers from Afar, right?
It sounds about right.
So the guide, you can help nearby Rangers. So normally you can only help Rangers in your region by giving them energy that you have to pass their tests in the narrative.
So you can help from afar.
You can help from afar. Now, when you level the guide up, you can help any Ranger anywhere because you have a bird.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So anywhere on the
Send
map,
the bird.
somebody's got. So a lot of times it'll be like, what do you want to do? And there will be 3 options. One of them is 2 fitness. One of them is 3 awareness and 1 focus. One of them is 1 spirit. And if you're the guide, you can sit on energy. And then whenever your fellow Rangers are taking their narrative choices, you can offer to give them whatever energy they need to choose the narrative option that they want. Amazing. The Explorer ignores predators when suffering fatigue to continue exploring. So this is kind of a push your luck mechanic. You can take fatigue to continue getting progress by going through the terrain deck, the terrain cards. Now, the thing about that is every time you push your luck in that way, for every predator in your region, you take an additional fatigue. So it's very difficult to push your luck.
And you can
whenever there's foxes and
3
stuff.
fatigue before you start taking injuries, and you take 3 injuries, then your ranger disappears.
And you become a new ranger.
That's right.
And you keep playing. So you ignore that. So that means you're very good at exploring in locations with lots of predators. Sometimes those are the locations you need to be in, but there's like 3 tigers there and nobody wants to hang out. So you can do that. And then when you're a veteran, all nearby rangers ignore predators when suffering fatigue to continue exploring.
That's pretty good.
So all your nearby friends benefit from your exploration capabilities. Next, you have the shepherd. You can spend spirit to move an equal number of prey or predator from a nearby region to your region. So anywhere around you, you can bring prey and predator to you by spending spirit.
Call them to you, yeah.
And then when you're a veteran, you can spend spirit to move an equal number of prey or predator from a nearby region to your region or vice versa.
You just carting them
around.
So
you can move them in, you can move them out. It's genius. Artificer can host an additional gear, and then you spend focus to ready that gear or add a stored item from the supply in the prepare step. And then the veteran can host 2 additional gear on this card. So you now have 5 slots of gear. and you can spend focus to ready it or add a stored item from the supply. So basically, you become a gear master. Then you have the conciliator. You can have any number of companions with you. It's any number. I think the max is 2 usually, yeah? I think that's what that number means next to the...
Companions, yeah.
You can max 2, but the conciliator can have any number of companions. And during the prepare phase, you can exchange companions with any ranger nearby. So you can pass them around. And then when you're the veteran, you also ignore the effects of collateral damage, injuries. And then you can exchange companions with any ranger anywhere.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's a conciliator?
That's a conciliator.
Yeah.
And then finally, the trader, one of our favorites. All of your gear counts as 1 higher when trading, and you can exchange gear with any nearby ranger.
So much free value.
So if I buy something for 2 spirit, when I trade it back into the shop, I get 3 spirit worth of value, which is amazing. And then the veteran trader, all of your gear counts as 2 higher when trading, and you can exchange gear with any ranger anywhere.
That's crazy.
You can just feed the herd, man. Amazing.
Equip the team. Tell me, can you tell me, I guess the art style on these things, can I see one of these?
Yeah.
They're very similar to the cover. It feels different than typical Earthborne Rangers.
It's more Ghibli, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like sci-fi fantasy, Studio Ghibli, Galaxy Express, this kind of...
Even the iconography on the tokens is
I don't know.
A little different.
Do you guys know what you call anime that's not the like exaggerated style of anime where everything's like, you know, huge eyes and like everything's crazy and big exclamation points going overhead and changing poses all the time?
I referenced that animated Hobbit.
Do you know
Lord
what
of
that's
the
called,
Rings.
John? Is there
I think it's just animated.
But it's like I only ever really associate it with older anime, like Akira style, traditional, older, earlier anime. And then when I think about like us watching Dragon Ball Z as kids, it's not that.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of vibe. But
yeah. Although Dragon Ball leans more traditional than modern anime.
Yeah. It just kind of kept getting amped up and amped up and amped up, as everything does, of course.
Stylistic genre.
It's interesting there's not a name for that.
Yeah. CBS Inc. says real MA. That's probably not real.
All right. So, any last questions or thoughts from anyone out there before we go? Do you have anything?
Smash the like button, hit that subscribe, ring the bell, back the campaign, spend the money. This is the kind of game, like, I think. So, there's a lot of board gamers. Listen. It's real that you should think about how good this is going to look on your shelf.
That box.
I'm just saying, like, this is a statement piece. I think it's one of those things, you know, when you're going to your friend's house who's, you know, very cool and they have a bunch of albums and it's like, oh, the albums I'm choosing to have / display are a indicator of the kind of person I am and kind of the persona that I want to either have or pretend that I have. And board game shelves are that. And having Earthborne Trailblazer on the shelf, it's beautiful. It looks gorgeous, looks awesome. The graphic design, everything is so well done, so well put together. These guys are artists. They know what they're doing. And I think just the game itself is going to be very pleasing to look at and experience.
It is 100% that. A couple things going on here. Sean saying one thing I don't think you highlighted was how much the push your luck mechanic actually was with the fatigue.
With the fatigue.
Once we got comfortable with, like, you have focus, which recovers fatigue. So realistically, if you're maximizing, you should probably be taking 1 or 2 fatigue a turn and then using your focus to recover. But it created a lot of tension. It was very fun, and I almost died a lot. Some questions: is there a date set for the next gameplay video? Yes, there is. A week from Tuesday, so 13 days from now is the current plan for publishing that gameplay video from us. Let's see. Xenotrauma, is there any difficulty ramp over longer sessions?
Let's see. Difficulty ramp over longer sessions. I think what's going to happen, the crises definitely seemed to get more plentiful over time, and I don't remember why. Maybe it's just the fact that you start with 0 and you start getting them kind of turn after turn after turn after turn.
Yeah, well, and like a lot of times a crisis happens and then it'll inform the next Google just randomly logging me out and then
application out of date. Thank
you. It'll put 2 or 3 cards on top of the deck or 5 cards sometimes that you're drawing from that would spawn new crises. So you won't have any for a minute, but it's like the first one is, oh, there's a flood. And so the next 5 cards are kind of messing with the flood. But inevitably there is this kind of like snowball effect where unless you're really efficient at dealing with crises quickly, a crisis happens, it takes a couple turns to either deal with it or let resolve. Then another one happens and another one happens. And like very quickly our board got out of control between crises. And one game I was playing, the predators got out of control.
Sean said you almost killed us that one time with a shepherd. You like moved like 8 tigers into our space.
And if there's a lot of tigers, they make more tigers.
They make more tigers, and there are certain event cards that say if there's a predator in your thing,
Die.
you know, you basically get wrecked. Yeah,
get wrecked. So yeah, I think the difficulty is essentially only really going to scale so far from what we've seen in the number of badges you're trying to get.
Yeah,
which is less about difficulty and more how much time do you have to achieve the thing. Although that's going to have to affect the number of ranges, the whole thing. But
and
yeah,
as the game goes on, you should be leveling things up, which should mean that you're better at dealing with things. Which I do wonder if we did play for like 5 hours, if at hour 4 we were just like gods.
Yeah, but I would assume there are some things that you could maybe not even do unless you were at that state.
That's true. That's true.
So that it's like
you have like 5 spirit, and you're just like, bring it on.
Let's see. There were some other questions that came in. Haley, is this the best game
What's up, Haley?
has ever made? That's a loaded question.
Impossible. You can't say. We can't even know that. It's all. You know what's crazy? What's crazy about Earthborne is how freaking consistent they are. Not about mechanical similarities, but about vibe similarities. They are able to absolutely nail the same vibe and feeling in a competitive LCG style game, a cooperative LCG style game, campaign game, and a board game, and make you feel the same in all 3 of them without it feeling the same. You know what I mean? It's just it's just the art, the vibe. They know what they're doing. They know why they're here. They know what they're trying to make.
I was gonna say it's like when you watch a movie and you're like, I bet this is done by this director or written by this person. There's like a DNA to it that is definitely shared.
Like Wes Anderson or something, like it's very much that.
Yeah, or even just A24 films. Like
you
kind of know one when you see one. So that's definitely true. But also like, you know, if you grab any competitive card game, cooperative card game, and board game, insert your favorite 3 there, and then try to ask the question, which one of these is the best one? It is so impossibly difficult to compare those. I don't even know. I don't know where to begin. I'll say I love all of them.
Yeah,
that's the cheap way out.
I don't have a favorite. I'm just glad the art is happening. It's just so much great art.
Yeah,
so much great art.
All right. Someone asked if the boards are made of wood. These are, but this is a handmade prototype, so I don't know. Oh no, this is like, what is this?
This is like a
cardboard
board. It's some kind of a board.
Yeah. I don't know. I doubt that the finals are going to be made of wood, but you know.
I bet somebody will make this out of wood at some point. I don't know if it's going to be them. Probably not for $100 in the box.
Yeah, I love those wood tokens. I actually really like a lot.
Yeah,
strangely. Anywho. All right, we did it. First impressions.
Everybody.
First impressions are, I really enjoy this game.
Yeah. Again, we're not objective.
It's not a review.
It's not a review. We love the things that we sell, and that's why we sell them.
Yeah.
So we love it. We think you should check it out. We think you would love it. I think it's an important. It just is an important thing in the hobby for this to exist and to be pushing a certain kind of narrative and vibe and way of understanding the world in our own little tiny way that we can do that in this hobby. It's just nice to feel the way that I feel when I play these kinds of games that Earthborne is making.
I'm with you on that.
I hope they keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, we'll do what we can to make sure that's true. Shout out to the Earthborne team for creating these games, for coming down and getting this vertical slice ready for us and some of the players to experience. Of course, shout out to Sean, Daniel, and Haley for visiting and being a part of that experience and letting us use your, use you on
talents.
Content, use your talents, but get to feature
your
you
stories, I guess,
and your stories and whatnot. It really meant a lot to our team and to the Earthborne team. So And to everyone out there backing this campaign and or buying anything related to Earthborne, thank you as well. We couldn't do any of this if that weren't true, and it's a privilege, honest privilege to be here.
I know they feel that. I know the Earthborne Games team feels that way too. Just so thankful to have people who are into what it is that they want to create in this world. That's a great feeling, and I'm glad there's an audience for this because I want it to keep going.
I am very happy that there is.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you next time. Any questions, go to our Discord or the Earthborne Discord or whatever. Back that game. Let's get into it. And good luck to the Earthborne team. Hopefully it's a rip-roaring success. And we'll see you next week. Take care.